That's not good. That's not good at all. There we go. Hi, and I'm Jack, the resident filthy American. Yeah, probably the last month or so. We have quite the list we're going to be going over today. God, those lasted a while. 30. Yep. Yes, I did. We'll get to it. It's pretty high up on the list. But yeah, it's gonna be a long shot. So we're probably real quick. We should probably get the bad stuff out of the way real quick first. Our negative highlights of the year, if you will. Uh, that shouldn't even qualify as a 20 anime since there's only 4 episodes out. Yeah, it's overrated as hell. But yeah, honestly, let's just talk about the really awful stuff we watched real quick, and then we'll move on to actual good content. Oh God, that's not good. We are currently without our tech guy at the moment, so unfortunately, we please do expect some technical difficulties this time around, and please bear with us. Right. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, sorry about this so much, everybody. Uh, oh, while he's getting all that sorted out, I'm going to talk real quick about a terrible anime that only I watched and that I wound up hating. So, there was this one anime that was a mobile game adaptation called Shiro Neko Project Zero Chronicle. For some inexplicable reason, I watched the entire thing through, and it is probably the single most disappointing series I finished this entire year because it is utter disappointing garbage that wasted so much of its time with meaningless slice of life stuff when it had an actual plot going on. So that's fun. It was not a good time. My disappointment was immeasurable, and my day was ruined by that series. So yeah,
Okay, can you now, people?
yes. All right, audience, can you hear Mel? Okay, it's coming through now, Mel.
Okay, good. Uh,
Okay. What?
okay, so getting back to my Power Rangers, show that we both watched episodes of. Well, actually, I didn't even episodes because episode got it pulled from Funimation. Uh, Ishizoku reviewers.
I
What
think
you?
he's referring to yeah, that one.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with my audio.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, Ishizoku reviewers, aka interspecies reviewers, aka the series that should have been a hentai, and I don't know why they tried to market it as a regular anime. That's really its biggest problem. It should have been a hentai. Like, yeah.
Yeah, if it had been a hentai, it's absolutely fine. Like and but well, a passable hentai. The fact that they chose to anime for whatever reason turned out
Mm.
to be a bad anime
Yeah, it's
character. Got itself kicked from so many
it was not worth.
sites and
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it wasn't just straight up hentai. But yeah, onto another series that we both absolutely despised, Plunderer, aka Seven Deadly Sins' worst cousin,
like
aka Mr. Sexual Harassment Protag Coon and his wacky number related adventure that makes no goddamn fucking sense.
yeah, you think we might be joking about that straight up 7 days.
Except
But
with
worse.
even less of the actual good. Yeah, none of the actual positives of Seven Deadly Sins, and all the negatives cranked up to 11. Ugh, God, I hated that fucking show so fucking much.
It was
Oh no, that it is at the bottom of my list for the year. Rock fucking bottom,
there's also
and rightfully so. Ugh, what an actual garbage show. Anyways, let's move. Now that we've spent a good 5-10 minutes talking about trash, let's talk about good stuff. Uh, we're we're planning to go down our list in alphabetical order, so starting with the A's with Appare Ranma.
Actually, but we'll go with it.
Whatever.
So, Appare Ranman.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Appare Ranman was just fantastic show from beginning to end.
Oh, it really
Definitely,
was.
really, it's probably one of the best of the probably the best show in terms of like the blend of action, adventure, and comedy. I'd say out of all the ones we've seen this year, arguably, it's very high up there in terms of how well it executed all those elements,
Yeah, I would agree. I mean,
in my opinion.
no, I definitely agree. This is very much in my top 5 shows of the. I genuinely did enjoy this so much. I mean, it's just it's wacky racist
It's
bullshit.
really
That's what it is.
it's really hard not to enjoy.
I mean, well, no, it starts
Yep.
off. It starts off as wacky racist bullshit, and then turns into this like genuinely action-packed show, and manages to
Yeah,
like
it's somehow just
it manages to
it's
like
just really
negotiate.
incredible.
Yeah, it manages to negotiate that switching genres really well as well. Like it doesn't feel out of place for it to suddenly turn into this samurai western like show.
It handled all the transitions really well. Like it started off as a seeming buddy comedy, and then it turned into just an excellent ensemble piece where just it was supported by just such an amazing cast of characters.
I mean that is the thing we have to mention about Pyro
Even
Ranman.
if some of the designs,
Yeah, that is the thing we have to mention about Pyro Ranman. Its entire cast was good. And I think that's always the sign of a good show when its side cast can handle sort of the pressure as well as the cast. And Aparo Ronman's
yeah,
cast definitely managed to do that. I mean, no, yeah, uh, you had Al, you had fucking names slip from my head. Dylan and TJ, their
oh god,
rivalry was always entertaining, especially
oh
their bloody gunfight the night before the race, just utterly
oh that
insane.
was fucking buck wild. What
Uh,
was also great was oh yeah, the last few episodes are also just fucking ham all the way through.
put it this way:
God.
going into the summer season, I was very down on Kenjiro Suda, the voice actor, and I still am to an extent. But when it turned out that he was voicing the main villain in Pyro Ranman, his like basically his introduction episode, I guess. I mean, his character was introduced before that, but when he actually dropped the facade, that got me right back on board on the Suda train. Because that scene was just the villain Guilty Cigar was just so menacing.
He was a really fucking good villain.
Yeah,
Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he just worked really well as this smug, arrogant, and yet simultaneously incredibly intimidating villain.
yeah. I mean, and he worked really well as this sort of this wall that somebody like Apare couldn't get over. I mean, in pretty much all of the other sort of villain encounters in Thomas, Apare was always able to sort of think his way out of it. But the moment he tried to do that against Gil, like it just didn't work. So
Hmm.
it did a different approach to things, which really well handled. I thought. Not to mention Best Boy
Yeah, that's the
Kosame.
thing. Like, oh god, Kosume is such a great character. He works really well as just like this interesting foil to Apare, while also being having a very strong character arc of his own. And it just worked really well as like a counterpoint to the rest of the main cast.
Yeah.
Like
I
all of them have some degree of a character arc, but most of them are not to the same extent that Apare and Kosume do.
and then we
Which
have
honestly, I would love to see a season two with all of these characters because they work really well
oh,
as a cast.
I would absolutely love a season. I mean, as I said, I just loved the entire cast so much. Like, we also had the fucking the fucking Disney princess guy who was just who was introduced as the supposed guilty Scar. This basically evil dude turns out to be probably the nicest one out of the entire cast.
Oh my god, yes, I remember. Oh, that was wonderful.
Like legit, just like went around just like giving people nice talks or handing them food or stuff like that. Like he did no wrong pretty much the entire show.
He was just such a good being, such a good boy. Ah, man, we could gush all day about the cast of characters alone in this series, but we also need to talk about the action sequences and the racing sequences because those were all friggin' amazing looking.
Yeah, I mean the races. It was mostly in the first half that we got. Well, no, it was mostly the middle that we got the races because the first half or the first sort of third was preparing for the race. The last third was dealing with Hill. Middle third was devoted to the races. Well, and it really was just like the lost episodes of Wacky Races.
Basically, though,
like if
like that
Like if I had turned on my TV looking for an episode of Wacky Race as a kid and found an episode of Apare Ranman from that middle part, I would have just been like, "Cool, I guess this is Wacky Races now." Where's Dick Dastardly? Oh, there he is, and he's got and Muttley looks a lot different now as well.
Where's the lie, though?
I mean that is basically the role that the Disney princess and his brother, I can't remember their names. That's basically the role they played in that until they got unmasked. Like
Oh god, that was oh man. Anyways, we should probably move on because we've already spent almost 10 minutes on this one.
just a little bit about the action scenes. Again, it mostly in that last third, just the fights they had against Gil and the deputies. The fight
Oh,
Xiaolan
those were
had with
Xiaolong's fight was the best one of the lot,
oh yeah,
easily. It was just so amazing.
I mean it was the most intricate, very much so.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I still have a soft spot for the Disney princess just fucking football tackling that big dude through a wall.
That was fun, yes. It,
Yes, we
just the whole thing was excellently done.
yeah. Yes, we should move on to the
We
next
are definitely
amazing show, which is Akadama Drive.
Dama Drive.
I honestly don't think anyone expected this to be as good as it was. Like,
It was fucking amazing. And it was a surprise too for everyone.
yeah.
Like, who the hell expected the this to be like as good as it was?
I mean,
It
I didn't think it would be that bad. So it doesn't sort of. There's another show that we'll talk about later that probably wins my most surprising anime of just because I expected it to be bad and it was, but I certainly didn't expect much from Akudama. I thought it would just be sort of your generic action anime, but it turned out to be a really well done, really like socially conscious anime.
Oh yeah, Akudama Drive does not have good things to say about the cops
Well,
at all.
authoritarian regimes in general, really. Uh,
Oh yeah, no, it is a very harsh critique of authoritarianism and police brutality.
I
Like
mean, yeah,
it does not hold back on that at all.
no, it does not. But here's the thing: who would have fucking guessed that the true cyberpunk experience would come from Akudama Drive rather than Cyberpunk 2077?
I didn't expect that. That's for sure.
No, I did not either. So
It
let's
came
just
out really.
go ahead.
It came out really well, regardless.
Yeah, like so let's just it's very much split into two halves. I would say the first half is very much more action packed. It's more focused on the heist aspect of the show, um, and it is more action packed in part because spoilers. I mean spoilers for all of these shows,
Oh yeah, spoilers, obviously.
but spoilers for Akadama. It's because Brawler is still alive and he just takes over pretty much every scene he.
Yeah, he is the heavy hitter of the group and the series as well. And yeah, no, he just as soon as he leaves the show, it becomes a lot more introspective and a lot more
Yeah.
I think thematic would be a good term for it,
Well, it
probably.
becomes a lot more sort of because they don't have Brawler to basically, you know, beat down every problem that they come across. They have to become a lot sneakier and a lot smarter about how they, and it becomes a lot more about the sort of cyberpunk theme than before. It becomes a lot more about social issues.
Yeah,
And I mean,
it really does.
and
Whereas the
that's.
first
Go ahead.
the first 6 episodes are very much like the action-packed joyride that you would expect from the series.
Yeah,
Whereas afterwards, it's very much a no holds barred, nonstop race. It it's no holds barred in its actual addressing of its themes in the second half.
yeah.
Whereas the first one is just a nonstop joyride with one of the best fights of the year too, in Brawler versus Master,
I mean,
which is fucking spectacular.
all three of the Brawler versus Execution fights were just superb. I mean, that's the thing. This show was made by Studio Piero, who, let's be real, don't have the best reputation for animation quality in the world. Like, it's just
Jesus
not
Christ, no.
it's just not in their wheelhouse. But in episode 2, you have an absolutely intricate sequence of just hand-to-hand combat between Brawler and Pupil that ends up, and then when Master comes in and curb stomps Brawler, which is really does well to establish the skill of these two. The fact that Pupil, for the most part, was able to go toe to toe with Brawler and ostensibly take out Doctor, and Master was able to so easily take down Brawler for the part. It's a really well done introduction for them, but it's just so well animated, especially when Master takes Brawler down. It's like slows down just a little bit so you can see impact of the blows. But yes, the one in
It
episode 5 which is the finale for both characters.
Episode 6, the final fight.
Six, sorry, is the one that
Episode 6. It's episode 6. Yeah.
yeah is the one that really really just shows off. I mean, just shows off the beauty of the animation, but also of the background. I mean, there's go you've seen the gifs
Oh
that
god.
I made for that fight. The flash of lightning, starting up the theme park. So there's all these different colored lights in the background, and then slow motion shot as they hit each other, then droplets just spraying away. It's just absolutely beautiful.
It's is stunning. It's just an overall excellent show, and it's just brought upwards by the excellent cast of characters. Like, it's really hard to go wrong with how well the dynamics work with Swindler, with Courier, with Hacker,
Oh,
all
Swindler!
the main cast.
I love
Swindler probably has some of the best character growth in the entire series.
I love Swindler's arc so much. I mean, I was predicting for most of the show that it would turn out that she actually was Swindler and that it wasn't actually an act. But to be proven wrong in that way, where she actually does become Swindler, gets her own like special introduction as
Intro
Swindler.
title.
Yeah. Like it just makes it even
it's
better.
amazing.
Yeah. And the fact that
She's easily a strong contender for the best protagonist this year.
yeah. Like put it this way, the rest of the Akdama have been active for, God knows how long and haven't really done anything to sort of cause any real issues. I mean, yes, you know, they obviously caused some issues to become Akadama, but in the space of like what, at most a week, I would say, Swindler managed to destabilize
A week
the
or two.
entirety of Kansai and destroy the future of Kanto. Like,
She's just a fucking amazing MVP.
yeah, she's just so clever. Like again, big spoilers for the last episode. The plot to rile up the populace by saying that she was just an ordinary citizen on camera was, a good enough scheme on its own, but to then take out the power for Kansai, that really was just an absolute masterstroke.
She's just like such a well developed character, and she's probably the highlight of the series, of which has a lot of highlights.
I mean, that's the thing.
But
The fact that she is able to be the highlight of the series when Brawler was so fantastic and so prominent in the first half says something about what she managed.
yeah, it's a shame that Brawler was the first to go, but at the same time, he
It
kind of
makes
had to
sense.
be.
It makes sense. Like he was considering that Doctor was manipulating the situation all along, and B that if he's there, they've got an easy solution to pretty much every problem of just beat the shit out of it. And C,
Punchy, yeah.
he is of course the most reckless out of all of them, so it makes sense he would go out in a fight.
Yep. He died doing what he loved,
He did.
punching things.
He did. Uh, we
Yeah,
wanna
we could gush about this all day, but we do need to move on to
okay.
Beastars.
So I've
Oh no. Oh no.
uh, I do not apologize for this. Got a very special GIF for Beastars because I find this GIF absolutely hilarious. Uh,
Oh god damn it.
Behold.
Oh no. Oh no. Why? God damn it, why?
Is it working?
Is it up yet? I don't know.
I mean, the
I do not know.
initial picture is so OBS is not showing me whether it's actually playing on. I hope it's playing. I'd find it disappointing if it wasn't. I'd be able to find the GIF itself. Sure. Quickly get it in. Anyway,
Just do that then.
while waiting for that, so OBS is not showing me whether it's actually playing on.
Beastars is like a really good series.
Yeah, it is.
Like I have it. It would probably be in my top 10 if I didn't have so many other shows I absolutely fucking adored this year. As it is, I think it's ranked like number 11 or 12 out of non-sequels, and I'd rate it at like a solid 8.5 or 9 out of 10. It's really good. It helps that it's, you know how most CGI anime looks fucking atrocious.
Yeah,
Beastars doesn't. It looks fucking incredible
yeah,
throughout its entire run,
yeah.
including like a animated fight sequence near the end of the season. And it's just like, what gives you the right to look this good, Beastars? What
Okay,
gives you the right?
there it goes. Now it's up. I couldn't help but
Oh
notice your
no!
bulgy
Oh
wulgy from
fuck!
across the
Ah,
floor.
fuck! Oh, Jesus! Damn it! God fucking damn it! Monster! You absolute monster!
So just to give some context,
But yeah,
it's what's even better about this is that I'm not sure who created the GIF. It might have been Scott Kaiseneko from FS,
it was
but
almost certainly Kaiser.
certainly, but then the fucking dub actor for Legoshi actually voiced it, and it's just hilarious hearing it actually said. And it's just, oh god. But yeah, Beastars in general. I haven't watched the anime. I have read the manga for current to the volumes. It is a really good series.
It's like it has it's like how it's like how to describe it. I'd say it's like Zootopia without any of the messy metaphor attempts, with the actual conflict arising from something much more organic
Well, it's
to the world, rather than like being a forced racial allegory.
well,
You know?
it's Zootopia allowed to actually address, social issues in a society made up of various animal species. Zootopia would not have been allowed to address and is not allowed to address, the inherent sort of problems in society, like, you know, uh, a wolf suddenly being attracted to a small bunny rabbit. I mean, you say that Beastars doesn't have sort of a racial allegory, but in a sense it does with.
Not a one to one.
It's not a one to one, no, but I would still argue that
It
there
doesn't
is
try to force a one to one allegory.
allegory.
Allegory. Bleh. Ignore my bad pronunciations.
It's fine. You're American. You can't help it. But yeah, like it's really keyed in on social issues, but it's also keyed in on the experience of being a teenager.
It's really it's about a lot of stuff, but more than anything else, it's a story about adolescence and growing up.
And trying to find your
I would
place
say,
in the
like,
world.
yeah, it is a coming of age story, it more than anything else.
It's
And
an actually well done, not cliche one. That.
yeah, yeah. And honestly, it handles like fantastical prejudice better than any series I've seen in recent memory besides maybe One Piece.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it helps that it does not force a metaphor where a lot of other series do, and that's definitely to its benefits.
Well, it just it has its own social issues and uh leaves sort of the work to you in a sense. It leaves you to sort of connect it to know real life social issues. Doesn't, as you said, it doesn't force the issue. Just, post this here, and it's your brain that makes the connections. Oh, this is actually really similar to something in real life. Uh,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's the strength of the characters as well. Like Legoshi is just such a relatable character in a sense, which is not what I thought I'd be saying about an
a wolf man,
anthropomorphic wolf. Uh,
and yet somehow it works.
yeah, and then just
But yeah, um, Legoshi is a great protagonist. Louis is an excellent foil to him, and Haru balances out the two in such interesting and unique way, and it works great for all three characters. They just have such a interesting and complex dynamic with one another, and that's not even getting into the supporting cast. It's
and
just a really good show.
yeah, and while Haru is definitely a love interest for both Legoshi and Louis, she is still her own character, and she still
She's
feels
not
like she has a life beyond
not
just those two
defined by her.
characters.
Yeah, no, and it's actually kind of part of her character that she's so sick and tired of being defined by how other people see her, which is just a
Yeah.
really interesting and refreshing take on that.
Oh, it really is.
But yeah, I could talk about this all day. It's such a fascinating story.
Well, I mean, we'll be talking a bit
But
more. We'll be talking more about
moving on,
Beastars next week when we talk about manga that started in 2020.
manga a little bit.
Obviously, the
Oh yeah, that'll
Beastars
be fun.
manga and just ended this year. But yes, moving on. There's another furry show. Uh,
Netflix was trying to turn us into fucking furries this year, I swear.
oh, that reminds me. Two things about Beastars before on fully. Uh, first, um, last year I asked for the first volume of the Stars manga from my brother, and he said when a friend of his found out that I'd been asking for that, the friend asked my brother if I was a furry. Uh, and
Are
then
you?
no, not not especially. I would not define myself. I would not like say I'm full on furry. They have slight furry tastes at times, but not full on. The second thing is that, again, this a few months ago. I got a. I started getting ads for. Oh god, I can't remember what it was. It was something furry related. I was like, "Look, I'm reading Beastars for the coming of age story, not the animal sex. Please don't do this to me." Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, BNA is I wouldn't say it's a bad series at all, but it's weaker than Beastars. It's hard to it's really hard to separate that out.
I mean, it's not
Because it
necessarily a
does have a much it does have the it has the issue I stated earlier of trying to connect fantastical prejudice to real world prejudice.
I mean, it's
But
saying that it's worse than Beastars is not necessarily bad because Beastars is
nah,
such a high bar for
it
quality.
really is. It really is. But yeah, whereas Beastars is about a wolf man trying to under coming of age. Um, BNA is more about a Tanuki girl who was once a human and got transformed into a furry, and now she is running around the furry capital of the world, trying to deal with, trying to help out her wolf dude detective friend, and coming into conflict with her ex girlfriend. I mean, her former friend, and it's pretty well done, but especially the animation. The animation is fucking jaw dropping at times.
Well, it is Trigger, isn't
But the biggest problem with BNA is Trigger. It, when you go to Trigger, you expect it to look good
it? You don't expect
beyond
much.
anything else.
You don't expect much more than that, but you certainly expect it to look good.
Yes. But yeah, BNA is, I think it's worth watching. Just don't watch it immediately after Beastars because that will fuck up your expectations real something fierce. Like, I'm not joking. I'm not joking in the slightest.
Oh, I'm sure you aren't. Like, and I probably agree with that. Leave Beastars to last because otherwise its quality will. But
Yeah, I
especially
mean,
if you're watching BNA stars together.
Beastars is actually the last new anime I watched this year that I hadn't already been watching beforehand. So yeah. Um, moving on though to something that isn't a furry anime. Decade. No, no.
Go
Bofuri.
free, go free.
Bofuri is. Oh god, I fucking love Bofuri.
Add an entry onto the this had no right being as good as it was list. Like,
Yeah, it had no right being as good as it was, but and yet somehow it was just phenomenal.
I mean, look, it's as soon as people hear it's a story set in like a virtual game, like
A
pe-
VR MNO.
yeah, people immediately sort of and and when I say people, I mean me as well. Immediately think, it's going to be another, isekai. It's going to be boring, especially seeing as the protagonist is being set up OP. But here's the thing. Here's where Bofuri differs from isekai in general, and especially the ones with OP protagonists. A lot of shows with OP protagonists fail because the OPness of the protagonist basically removes any stakes in the show. Like, who is gonna, why should we care about what's happening to these guys when the OP is just gonna kill whatever's in front of them, therefore they're not being threatened by anything. That's because a lot of these, and they're almost always isekai, is stakes are their lives. Oh, free. The stakes are basically, are they having fun? And
Yeah, no, and it's like a lot of this content is guild contests and stuff like that, rather than anything that involves life or death stakes. It's a much more low key, very fun type of series, and it definitely benefits from that.
yeah, no, I mean that's the
Not to
thing.
mention Maple is just
Maple is just
Maple is
utterly
just such a
ridiculous.
small bean.
Yeah, it's utterly ridiculous and just absolutely
Maple is
adorable.
both. She's the perfect combination of adorable and terrifying
Oh yeah.
somehow.
I mean, again, what helps her OPness is that she has no idea what she's doing and how OP she treats. She's a completely inexperienced gamer, and so she just did the thing that she wanted to do, and it suddenly turned out to be like the best strategy in the damn game.
Oh my god. She just min-maxed her defense to an absurd degree, and she wound up breaking the game by complete accident. And it is glorious to behold.
I mean, you've got the devs frantically trying to nerf her as much as they possibly can at all
And
times
it
because
doesn't work.
it doesn't work because she gets another absurd power up. I mean, going through the shit that she gets in a single season, she gets poison immunity, the ability to summon a giant poison hydra, a giant flying turtle called Syrup, because you know Maple, and together they'd be Maple Syrup. And I'm gonna stop now. The ability to nibble monsters to death, a
Oh, not to
freaking
mention all the transformations.
a freaking angel form, and a goddamn mecha form.
Not to mention the fucking alien from Aliens. A fucking giant ass xenomorph transformation
and just
that, oh my god,
and
that
just
can self duplicate.
and just the reactions to it never get old. Like the rest of her guild is just watching this and just like she has no idea what she's doing. How is she this strong? What the hell?
It's amazing. I love this. I love it so much, and I cannot wait for the second season.
I'm so glad it's got a second
I was
season.
so
Yeah.
delighted. I
This
was so delighted when that got announced.
yeah. But you've also got, the rest of the guild. You've got Sally, who, now Maple's real life friend, who's also an accomplished gamer and therefore knows how to play the system and becomes nearly as OP nearly as quickly.
Yeah, Maple's girlfriend is definitely really powerful.
Yeah. You've got Kuromu, another shield main, who is basically, narrating the adventures of Maple in the game's chat.
Like the entire guild is really fun characters. We could go over these characters all day,
Well,
and we.
the one I really want to mention is Kanade, who is the latest entry to anime, boy or girl.
Oh god, he's a guy, by the way.
He is a guy,
Like,
yes, but damn
just
if it
looks
isn't
really feminine.
unclear.
You know, it was really unclear.
Damn if I didn't have to Google it to make sure that I had the right gender, because it's really unclear. They're also a lot of fun
Yeah.
because
Anyways,
they're basically in it. Uh, Canada is basically in it just for the lols, just to see Maple do crazy shit. But yes,
that's relatable.
yeah, but yes,
Moving on to Decadence, which was another surprise series this year
the third,
because episode 2 had one hell of a twist.
yeah, the third. We haven't mentioned this yet, but the third amazing original anime so far on the list. Like Apari Ranman and
Yeah, no,
Akudama
like,
Drive were both
holy shit.
originals,
There are,
and that helped them. I mean,
yeah,
the great thing about originals is you have no idea where the fuck they're gonna go. Like Akudama took advantage of that massively in that
don't
nobody
have,
knew where it was gonna go next, and Decadence had that same advantage
yeah,
in that it was able to pull off that twist in the second episode. When I watched the second episode, I knew there was a
and
twist
you
going
don't
in.
have, yeah,
I knew there was a twist going in, and yet it
same.
still shocked the hell out of me.
It helps that no one really told us what the twist was, so we could still be surprised. We just knew that there was a twist, and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Another benefit is that you don't have smug manga readers or light novel readers telling you what that's what you think's gonna happen, huh? Oh, I see. I mean, I'm also guilty of that, but still, it's nice to not have to experience that
I mean, I was gonna
with anime
say that
originals.
that's some self-deprecation there because you are one of those sometimes. I mean, so am I.
Yes, I'm a mango snob. What's their point?
But yeah, I mean, Decadence just again, it's another anime that sort of dealt with social issues and did so really well because it's all about sort of end stage capitalism, which is more relevant now than it ever has been before, and revolution and
Oh
all
yeah,
that sort of
it
stuff.
was very much a harsh condemnation of late stage capitalism, and it did not hold up on that at all.
I mean, in
But
in the sense of the
the
in
main characters of Decadence are really good.
oh yeah, I mean, oh god, what's the guy's name again? I know we've got Natsume,
Uh,
but
Kaburagi and Natsume.
Kaburagi, that's it.
Kaburagi is
I'm
the other
sorry,
main character.
I watched 38 shows this year. There are so many names in my head, and I can't remember which one goes where.
38? Ha, amateur.
I mean, I also watched like a bunch of other TV shows, read books, some other anime that just weren't from 2020.
I'm here, dude, and yet I don't have this problem. My
Uh,
memory is just freakish.
my memory is good for stuff written down, bad for stuff that I'm hearing, which is why I struggle with names in anime.
That's what the subtitles are for.
That doesn't help that much. I mean, for God's sake, I was calling the officer in Magatsu Verai Kenjiro Suda guy for the longest time,
We'll talk about that one later.
because that was his like defining trait to me. But yes, get back to Decadence. Natsume and Kaburagi were very good protagonists for different reasons. Now, Natsume was very much the
Yeah,
hope that things
Natsume,
could get better, whereas Kaburagi, cynical guy who thinks,
the jaded veteran.
yeah, the jaded veteran who you know suddenly thinks, hang on, maybe things can be better.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and it's that sort of Kaburagi in particular is again a really relatable character in the sense of the basically anti-capitalist theme because there are a lot of people nowadays who are like, well, regardless of what I do, nothing will change, so I might as well just try and use the system as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And but he discovers that if he does do something, then yes, there is the possibility of change, even if it's only on a small scale, like one girl who should be deleted gets to live and accomplish her dream.
It's really very much about the small steps towards your goals and working towards trying to improve the world how in whatever small ways you can.
Yeah.
And that's a very valuable message, I think.
Oh, it
Even if
absolutely
it doesn't
is.
like follow through completely on its even if it doesn't follow through completely on everything it sets out to do, it still manages to get those themes across. And I think it's all the more special for it.
I mean,
But
speaking of its flaws, just for a second, I do think that it sort of. I don't think its finale was related enough to its themes. I mean, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't a bad
no,
finale.
it definitely dropped the ball at that.
It definitely wasn't a bad finale in any
It,
way.
it
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 was a very good
thematically
finale,
dropped the ball.
but thematically, the story of or the sort of sub story of it being anti-capitalist sort of fell off by the time the last episode came through. the other thing that I want to mention references that the creators place throughout. So one of Kamaragi's robot friends was a purple guy called Donatello, which is just absolutely has to be a Ninja Turtles reference. I would eat a
Oh,
hat if it wasn't
100%.
a Turtles reference. The other really cool thing that I found out is um the Bugs guy and his bird were called Hugin and
Hugin and
Munin,
Moonin.
which are obviously the Norse
Mill,
mythological.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I feel like you're sort of coming in a little behind me, but I'm like I can definitely hear you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're called these guys that are watching everything are called Hugin in Norse mythology.
Odin's Ravens,
Odin's
yes.
ravens. Yeah, again, it's just a really cool touch. I felt like I really enjoyed that little bit of trivia. Like it not like obviously not remarked upon in a really neat little thing to learn.
Hmm. I do love those little mythology references that so many shows have.
Yeah,
They're really great.
yeah.
But moving on from decadence, we gotta make sure we gotta keep a rein on our time here, man, because we got a lot to get through.
I think we're making good enough progress.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. We're the next two. We're probably gonna have to do a little bit, tiny bit of lightning round. But next up is Dorohedoro, which is uh, which is another CG animated series. This time from Studio Mappa, and it was also locked in Netflix jail. But this one was also good shit, in a very different way from Beastars, because Dorohedoro is much darker and much more graphically violent than Beastars ever could be, if I'm being honest.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Like, apparently, people a while ago thought the manga was straight up unadaptable because of its art style and its just how grimy and dark and gross it could get. But damn, it's a good ass series, and it has some of the best characters in the
Doesn't it
that
have
I've seen all year.
doesn't it have a buff
It ha-
muscle girl?
yes, Noi. She is fucking amazing. I fucking love her to death.
Buff muscle girl with the face of Mirio.
No, not quite. She does have a pretty face though. And but she is fucking jacked and I fucking love her. But yeah, no, all the crazy magic powers in Dorohedoro plus all the absolutely absurd levels of violence. It just it's one of those crosses the line twice type things that somehow loops back around to being awesome
Yeah,
from being insane. And it's just a really fun ride from beginning to end.
yeah.
But yeah, check out Dory Hero on Netflix.
I mean, it's a bit of a shame that that it got not locked in jail because that will affect series a little bit. But
Oh, absolutely, always does.
anyway, moving on. This is going to be a show that I don't have a mass amount of good to say about. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai.
I feel like this one is very much it's an old school shonen series. This was made in the fucking 90s, back before even One Piece and Naruto came out. This was being serialized. I think it had like it it it's had like a few dozen volumes to it too, so it ran for a good while. But it's I feel like Adventure of Dai is something that if you enjoy old school shonen series, then it's definitely one to check out. But if not, then
Hello.
don't don't bother with it
Yeah.
because it does it does have a lot of the issues with old school shonen. Like well not the worst issues. It doesn't have the it doesn't have a Roshi yet. So that's a positive.
Yeah. I mean, my
But
my
yeah, it does have
my
pacing
issues with it
problems,
is just that it was
especially.
just taking so long to do anything. I think that is
Yeah,
very much
pacing,
a
pacing
trait
issues.
of long running shonen, or of the sorry old shonen, is that they're generally long running. Uh, as a result, take forever to get any. As somebody who has only got started via new shonen stuff like My Hero, just it's just so awful to try and sit through. The other thing is that I just don't have any confidence in it. I watched what episode did I watch? I think probably 8 or 9. What was the last Crocodile episode?
I think it was 9
Yeah, so I watched up to episode 9 where Pop finally found his
for his
courage.
spine.
Yeah, but the issue is that because it's an old shonen, I have no faith that that will last. Like I'm sure within
Mm,
2 episodes he was acting cowardly again, and I just can't.
not really.
Maybe I was wrong then, but I mean, I just found myself trying to watch next episode and going, do I really care about anyone? Really? I mean,
That's fair.
I really,
Understandable, really.
yeah, I did really like the Avan arc actually. I did think that was that.
Yeah, I think it's really well done, personally, the of Avon's arc. But yeah, bottom line, if you're cool with old school shonen or if you want a nostalgia trip, just watch it, check it out. If not, then you know to avoid it because it does have that good old fashioned pacing problem that it plagues old school shonen.
Yeah.
Something fierce.
Also, Crocodile had a Disney villain.
He didn't actually die.
Of course he didn't.
Well, he kinda did. Anyways, moving on. To Fire Force Season 2. This
Uh,
has different shonen.
yeah. This is.
Fucking Tamaki, man.
I don't want to talk about her. Just know that Tamaki is the worst part of Fire Force. All Hero Mash fault. Uh,
Oh, let's not go there.
yeah. But I want to talk about the good of this season. So I am not fully caught up on this. I think I've only watched sort of 9 or 10 episodes so far of it because I've been dubbed and I also haven't had time for sequels yet. But the first thing I want to mention is the first episode because just the second half of it, I was crying laughing. I think I had to pause it a couple of times because I was
Oh
laughing
god.
so fucking hard because it was the fucking calendar bit. And like my first exposure to Fire Force
Yep,
was a screenshot
yep.
from the manga of that particular arc of just the naked first division, and
Men.
yeah, you know me, I'm all about that shit, so I was interested. But it's just so fucking funny. So you've got fucking Hinoa, who is like the straightest laced member of Company 8. And like the guy you never expect to say anything like this, going, their crowd favorite record, it is a real favorite getting killed this year. And it's just like, oh my god, you know what? A man died. You can't say that.
Fair, he was an asshole.
He was an asshole, but still. You just don't
Also, the whole
expect.
fake body from Giovanni was fucking
Oh,
hilarious to me,
yeah.
man. We could talk about that one episode in particular for ages, but
The other two,
oh,
just
my favorite,
two
my
things I want to
my
mention
favorite.
is just fucking Benny Maru having pictures taken of him in the bath and him actually realizing it and trying to stop it from happening. Just getting into basically a slap fight. Uh, and the
Yeah,
other thing was
honestly, my other favorite tag of the season was on the trip to China when everyone got high off the
oh yeah,
gases.
that was really good. That was really good. I mean, this season introduced Ogun,
Everyone
who
was
was
high
a
except for Lee.
yeah, but you've also got like
Hogan was.
Ogun is really good. I mean, again, I mean this. I mean, I'm not 100% sure because if I haven't watched or read Soul Eater, but that mangaka does seem like really good in terms of representation in the sense of you know
Yeah, he does have. Whenever he has a POC major character, he generally writes them pretty well.
yeah, which you know
Like Ogun is definitely one of the best POC anime characters in recent memory.
yeah, which you know fair play
Not
to
a
them.
high bar, mind you, but
I mean, it's
still.
not. It's not. It's actually there have been quite a few really good POC characters this year. I found, which you know
Yeah,
is good. You know, it shows anime is making progress. But yes, kudos to the mangaka for Ogun. Uh, Kick to the balls for him for Tamaki.
yeah. But oh god, and let's just talk real quick about David Production and its animation budget for this. Because if you guys want to know where all the JoJo's budget is going,
Oh, it's going
it's
here.
fucking here.
It's going here.
All that fire effects are fucking amazing. Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, I said this about Fire Force last year. The way the way they animate fire, the way they use sound effects of the fire has ruined it, ruined fire in the other anime for me. So well done that it just no other fire effect matches up.
Yeah, it's just a really fucking good show.
Yeah,
And it looks amazing.
I mean there are definitely issues like as we've said,
But
Tamaki. Uh,
oh yeah.
it's very very shonen, which does turn some people off.
Is not always a good thing.
Yeah,
It's not always a good thing.
it's not got a huge amount of depth, let's be honest, but at the same time, it's got fun characters, it's got fun fights. Honestly, that's enough for me.
It's what I crave from this series. I
Oh,
really crave that action sequence.
we haven't even mentioned Best Boy Arthur.
I fucking love Arthur so fucking much.
Arthur is the best.
God
When he
damn
fucking
it.
used the Company 5 leader as a shield,
My god.
I love him so much. He's so dumb.
You mean
So
Company
dumb.
4, Company 4, yeah.
Company 4, sorry. Uh,
That entire sequence was fucking funny as hell.
I mean, he is the epitome of he's got spirit.
Oh yeah, no. Arthur is a lovable dumbass, and I adore him.
Anyway,
But yeah,
moving on. Another show that only watched so far. I will get to it. I haven't had the time yet.
I am begging you to watch this series, man.
No,
I am begging you to watch the second season.
I absolutely will. Now that I've got a bit of time, I definitely.
Oh my god, this season made me cry so much. God. Oh man.
Please
It
try and
hurts.
please try
It
and talk
hurts
in
so
vague
well.
terms. 'Cause-
Okay, so three things poor Toru, poor Momiji, and fuck Akito so fucking much.
I mean, that
God,
was
Akito
basically
is
the other than poor Toru, that was basically the summation of events in the first season as well.
well, no, also like everyone just like we see how awful so many people's childhoods have been. Like this season delves heavily into how fucked up and abusive the Soma environment is. And also, Kyo's father is an absolute piece of shit. Not his adoptive father, his bio father.
Oh, what a
Uh,
surprise!
so, uh, yeah, no.
Uh,
Kazuma is a good dad. Kyo's actual father is a piece of shit.
yeah. Do we get more of hottest boy Haru?
Oh, yes. We get Haru. We get more Haru. And we
Good,
actually get some more development of his romance plots, which is excellent, by
good.
the way. That episode also made me cry. I don't know why it made me cry, but it fucking did, even though it was centered on a fucking side character. How is this series so fucking good? God.
Does it have any more episodes
Oh.
like the Oh god, I don't remember his name. Fucking suicide dude.
No, it did not have any more Ritsu that I noticed. Like, I think he
Well,
might
any
have made a cameo or two, but
yeah.
he is not a focus character.
Well, any more episodes like that, that because that one was very much the weakest of that season, the first season. Whether
There's a lot more. Actually, the series is mostly focused this season on heavily developing Kyo and Yuki.
that's good. They do need it.
Like they get a lot of character growth this season, especially Yuki. Actually,
That's good.
like he matures a lot this season,
Yeah, that's good.
and but yeah, no, it delves a lot into the various Soma's pasts, and my God, the Soma family is so fucked up. But yeah, Fruits Basket, the Fruits Basket reboot. For anyone who hasn't, it is well worth it, and it is very. It'll give you a good cry. It's very emotionally cathartic, but also very emotional.
Anyway, moving on from drama to cooking anime.
It's a cooking anime disguised as a comedy anime, disguised as a historical anime, disguised as an action anime. The Scott Golden
I've
Kamui,
I love
season
this.
3.
I love this show so well. I love this series. I've not watched the anime for this. I've read the manga and I love it to bits. I
Golden
wrote
Kamui is just such a fucking bizarre series, but it is so uniquely its own thing.
I wrote part of my dissertation on the show. Like
You
it's
lucky motherfucker.
I mean, I wrote my entire dissertation on anime, so well, anime, manga, and video games. So yeah, I am really lucky in that, and I even got commended for my for my inventive subject choice by my supervisor. So yeah, I did well. Yeah, Golden
Golden
Kamuy.
Kamui is just so good.
It's just
Like,
so insane. The season, as far as I know, started out with shirtless dudes just brawling.
oh yeah, we got the good old
Communist
communist
Sugimoto.
Sugimoto,
That here's the thing that I
and he
love
was
about this.
JoJo punching dude.
Here's the thing I love about this show and about this series is that it absolutely does fan service, but it does male fan service, and that is so refreshing because so many series just do female fan service. Like obviously there's an audience for that, but just see Golden Kamuy just so shamelessly just show off the bodies of its male characters is just so refreshing,
So
so
many
nice.
so many beefcakes, and it
Yeah.
works somehow. It works.
Fucking Shiraishi getting hit in the head by a dick twice in the same scene. I mean, that was probably last season, but
Oh
still,
my
oh
god.
god, I love this show.
What's also great is that still throws some good plot curveballs at you. Like
Hmm,
the big reveal of Surumi's origin was just
yeah,
like, what the fuck? Surumi?
yeah. I
What?
mean, I mean, again,
What?
this is last season, but you know, fucking Ogata shooting Sugimoto, like I was shocked. I was shocked to my core that that happened.
Yeah, and fucking Sugimoto surviving getting shot in the head was just fucking awesome.
Well, he's the immortal Sugimoto, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He is. God, I could gush about this series all day, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just say we should move on to Great Pretender.
Okay. I have thoughts about this show.
I do too. How about you go first?
Okay, this is a really good show. I really enjoyed it. However, I would say
I knew there was a bit coming.
I would say that the final case was A, the weakest. B, let me just get my up. Uh, I feel that in the final case, the scheme feels started getting diminishing returns.
Yeah, I can see that. I
I
I will also say, like, the final case tackled probably the most difficult subject matter by far, and I don't think the show was equipped to handle it well,
Yeah,
especially with the way it wind up handling it. Like, human trafficking is something that is very, very difficult to handle properly,
yeah,
and having the main character be forced to work in that industry for like a couple months is just
yeah,
that's a hard pill to swallow, man.
yeah.
That's a really fucking hard pill to swallow.
But yeah, like so,
But
so for example,
beyond that, like the first
I mean, the first three cases are really good. I really enjoyed them. I think I felt that the final case was really weird because it did feel like with the second and third cases they had adapted to the idea that yeah there is going to be sort of diminishing returns to the scheme reveals. So let's start focusing on characters instead. I think maybe it's because that final case was 9 episodes, and so they had a little bit too much time to fill than they could with just character stuff.
yeah, I'm also kind of annoyed with who they chose to bring back from previous cases, as opposed to like actual good characters. They
Yeah,
brought back the marks from the previous cases instead,
I don't
which
think that
was
worked very well, mostly because
questionable.
yeah, I mean it just didn't really make sense why they were there and what they really did other than Casado. Like the other two just didn't really do anything. They were just all sat there
Asano
playing
makes sense
poker.
at least.
Yeah,
They could have just brought back his old bodyguard though. It made more sense. It would
I
have made more
wanted
sense.
to be fair, he's probably not in the bodyguarding business right now. But yes,
I know, but Salazar was a good character, and
Salazar
I
was a
would have
really
liked to
good
see him.
character. Like I said,
Yeah,
I enjoyed the first three cases of this show a lot. Like the first case was so
they were
good
really good.
with its reveals. Like you had no idea what was actually going to happen next.
It was just a fucking wild ride, and it was good.
Like the final reveal in that
And
first
like,
case absolutely got me. I was almost certain that you know Laurent and Abby weren't dead, but I did not see that the FBI agent was working with them coming. I just did not
it
see
was
that coming.
great. It's just like the whole fucking first three cases are just each unique in their and pull off their cases very differently.
Yeah. Well,
They're just
well, as I said, the second and third case is very much focused on. Second case focused on Abby. Third case focused on Cynthia, and I've and they did really well on that. You know, after that second case, you know, Abby's personality doesn't overtly change, but it becomes clear that she's enjoying life a lot more.
Yeah, no, like, it's not all at once, but she does experience some clear character development after the second case. And the problem is the final case is focused on Laurent, and he's kind of a colossal ass.
Oh yeah,
Like,
like
especially in the context of case four, like
yeah,
he's a dick.
like if Makoto had ended up betraying Laurent, I would have understood completely. Like, because you spent this entire show
Laurent deserved it.
manipulating Makoto, calling him by the wrong name. Like, though to be fair, the
Laurent is just such a piece of shit.
yeah, the one reveal in this final case that got me was the reveal that Laurent had subliminally conditioned Makoto to take the job with the company. Like
Oh wow, yeah.
just going through the flashback or going through the same scenes that you'd seen at the start of the episode of Makoto talking to Laurent, going through the airport, reading a newspaper on the train with an advertisement for and suddenly you realize, oh my god, Laurent planned this, that magnificent bastard. That one did get me, to be fair, but that was pretty much the
Emphasis on
last one.
bastard here.
Oh no, bastard! He is a complete and utter bastard. Like, and so is Makoto's dad. Let's be clear.
Makoto's dad is also a piece of shit.
Like, he may not be a piece of shit in the way that we thought he was, but he is definitely still a
He's
piece of
not.
shit.
Oh yeah, no, he's still a piece of shit, just not quite the extreme piece of shit we thought he was.
Yeah,
It really says something that the leader of a human trafficking ring is nicer to the protagonist than Laurent was.
yeah,
It just really says a lot about how awful Laurent is as a person.
and yet he's still incredibly entertaining.
He's entertaining as hell. He's just a terrible person.
Oh yeah, definitely. The other thing I
Yeah.
want to mention is Uh, I'm fairly sure you did as well, but I obviously watched this dubbed.
Oh hell yes. The
And
dub was fantastic.
the quality, I haven't been able to watch that many dubs this year because of the pandemic delaying most of them. But this was a
Yeah.
fantastic dub. Like, the guy playing Laurent was clearly having so much fun with it.
Oh, he was such a perfect cast for the smarmy
Yeah,
bastard.
yeah. And just again, it's
Anyways,
but yes, let's move on to the next show. This is one that only I have watched.
Gymnastic Samurai, which
Gymnastic
you
Samurai.
watched.
Yes.
Go for it.
Uh, so the basic premise of this anime is that a aging Japanese gymnast is inspired not to retire by a ninja who follows him and his daughter home, and he basically not only reperfecting his old move, but creating a new move to win a tournament over a young buck and inspiring the ninja to go back to his original calling, which is ballet dancing. And it's just so heartwarming because I mean the dynamic between Jotaro, Leo, and Ray was so fantastic, and really did feel like a family. But also, like, the investment I had by that final episode uh, where the bandana prince was finally starting to catch up to Jotaro and was starting to overtake him until it came down to the last event, the event that the entire show had been basically running up to the what's it called? And it's parallel bars. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. Where Jotaro debut move to win the tournament. The last time I felt that tense was Surene's finale. And in that finale, I was on the edge of my seat, chewing my fingernails. I was so tense. And Gymnastic Samurai genuinely got me close. It didn't make me cry, which is a slight minus in its favor. I do think that it maybe could have done with more episodes. I'm not sure if it would have been able to fill 24 episodes, but it's one of those unfortunate ones that sort of its necessary episode count sort of lands in the middle. But yeah, it's a really good show. It's also set in like 2002, just after the Olympics, I think. It's just it was just really enjoyable. The only this isn't really negative. This is just something I was really bothered by. There's a giant fucking talking bird from South America. I don't know what it is, and it angers me. It angers me to my core. It's just this giant bird called Big Bird that just fucking eats whole corn on the cobs. Like, it's just fucking like genuinely, like Jotaro's daughter Ray is like 8, 9 years old or something like that, and it's about that size. The bird is almost as big as her. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, it's just so fucking weird. I don't know what it is, and it freaks me out. Oh, anyway, Gymnastic Samurai is really, really good. If you, I mean, just give it a try if you have any interest in sports anime. It's a really well done one. It's also another original. So many fucking original
Yeah,
anime
no.
that are so fucking good.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, Great Pretender was also an original.
Great Pretender was also an original anime. I think we've only got maybe one or two more original anime left. Actually, no. I think that's the last one. No, we've got one more after this. But yeah, Gymnastic Samurai, really, really good sports anime. Was not, however, the best sports anime of this. That honor, of course, goes to the next show on the list. Again, I'm the only one out of the two of us who's watched that because Jack hates sports anime. But IQ Season 4. I don't want to sort of get into too many spoilers because obviously it's Season 4. Watch Haikyuu, please, I'm begging you. It's honestly the best sports series I have ever experienced, both in the manga and the anime. Season 4, both parts of it, because part 1 aired winter, part 2 aired fall. Both parts of it cemented that, again, the national. It was mostly to do with them facing Inarizaki twins, and the finale to that match just so super. Shows the development Nata, the growth of his skills, and just and it's got a really, really fantastic parallel to the end of season 1, where Kageyama and Hinata's free quick was blocked by Abajosai, showing that speed wasn't everything. Same thing happens at the end of the season. The Mia Twins try to go for their version of quick and use the exact same wording that Kageyama used in this position, this angle, this timing, perfect. Nada and Kageyama block it. It's just so well done. The music as well. Yuki Hayashi, I love it. He's done the music in 3 of my favorite shows. He's done the music My Hero, and now Haikyuu. It's always fantastic. Yeah, just as I mean, if you haven't watched Haikyuu, the only thing I would say is that the animation had a couple of spotty parts, but overall it's still the same fantastic quality as. Okay, so moving on. Final original
Yep.
of our list, and another absolutely incredible one, ID Invaded.
ID Invaded. This one probably has one of the best EDs of the year, I'd say, out of all of them.
If it wasn't for Jujutsu Kaisen, I think
just
it
putting
would.
Out there.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Jujutsu Kaisen, it would probably win ED of the year.
Oh.
I'm not 100% sure what would be able to compete
absolutely.
with it. It really was just so
good. I don't know either.
Uh,
yeah, it also helped that as much as I like the OP, it felt a lot more generically anime, whereas the ED that felt very unique
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the soundtrack, you know.
Well, the
But moving on to the actual
well,
beats of the show.
just to say about the ED, the song of the ED was done by Miyavi, who did soundtrack for most of the show.
Oh yeah, true.
So it makes sense that
It was a
that
pretty good
song.
soundtrack.
Oh, ID Invaded turned me on to Miyavi, and I've got one of their entire albums on my phone now because it's so fucking good.
It's good shit.
Yeah,
Very good shit. Oh man.
but getting onto the
But yeah,
show, it's a thinker because it's all about going into
it's some high
conscious.
concept
Yeah,
shit.
but at the same time, it never feels too complicated. You never sort of left feeling confused. Certainly, I wasn't. I'm not sure if uh, other people were. I never felt like it was sort of going too
Yeah,
complicated. I mean, there were parts where I was like, okay,
it it
what's
it,
it trying to
it
do
approached
here?
that, but it never quite overreached.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
stuff with what was her the girl who basically gave,
Andamachi?
no, not Honda Machi, the girl who gave Haname its powers.
Oh god, I don't remember. She didn't get a lot of focus
Give me a
compared
second because
to
I know I've
Andamachi.
got the Mal page for ID Invaded open. So, uh, but that girl, her stuff just before the sort of finales was a little bit complicated. I think weren't 100%
Oh
sure
yeah,
what was
that
happening.
bit was probably the strangest part of the show in my opinion.
Yeah, just
Besides the
Kairu.
ID wells, those are yeah, I think it's just Kaide.
I think it's just Kairu. Yeah, I mean the Idwells were all so interesting because they did give insights into the person whose subconscious they were entering.
Yeah. Speaking of people, the characters in this show could some of the characters in the show rather were really, really good. I don't know how, but they managed to make a fucking serial killer endearing.
I was about to say that they somehow managed to make Fukuda, who literally had drilled holes in people's head, killing most of them. They somehow managed to make his death a very, very sad moment. Managed to make him an entirely likable character. That, for me, that was in part because in the
That's
dub
impressive.
he was voiced by Justin Cook, and it just his voice worked really well. I watched the dub of this because the main character Norisago was voiced by Kenjiro Suda. Fuck Suda. Like
Your
literally,
grudge over Asuda is always hilarious.
like literally, I heard the PV, heard that it was Suda, and went, "Nah, I'm gonna wait for the dub. Don't care. I'm gonna watch the dub for this." I refuse to. And it was a really good dub. Norisago was voiced by Josh Grell. Honda Machi voiced by Monica Real. Fukuda, as I
Yeah,
said,
no, it was
was voiced by Justin Cook. It's a really well done dub, and it was even if I did have to wait like months and months for the final episode.
yeah, that's fun.
It was the pandemic. I'm not gonna blame any of that. It's just how things went. But yeah, this show in general was really just. I mean, I want to mention the Isco versus Challenger fight because again, genuinely, I think that's one of the most brutal fights I've seen in all anime because it was just so visceral. It was two guys going at it had realistic like injuries. Because in most animes you punch somebody in the face and they rock back, but that's about it. In real life, you punch somebody in the face and they're gonna have a bloody nose or a split lip. That's what happened in ID Invaded. People got punched in the face and they started fucking bleeding. People got locked in like martial arts moves, like arm breakers and knee bars, and that did real fucking damage. 'Cause that's what those
Arm
moves
bars
are,
everywhere.
and that's what those
Sorry,
moves.
had to.
No, I completely understand. Uh, and that's what those moves are intended to do. So it's so nice to actually see them, have their actual effect happen. It's just such a brutal fucking fight. It really is.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I
It,
made
it
sure it was on the fight of the year list. It's not gonna win. It's not gonna win at
no.
all. I just wanted to give it some props because I truly respect that fight.
Honestly, like the whole series was very brutal at points. Like
Hmm.
the big reveal of that one case as to of the serial killer's identity was which one was it? The one where the Idwell is the burning buildings.
Oh, that one,
That
yeah.
one was that one was fucking brutal.
I mean,
Like
it's yeah.
Jesus
I mean
Christ.
that was as you said that was pretty much the spirit of the entire show. We've also got that one where they were trying to find serial killer who'd been live streaming people's deaths. Uh,
That's the same one.
oh,
That's the same one.
is it the same one? Oh wow, okay, I did not
Yes.
realize. It's been a while since I watched that part of the show. That was before the pandemic started and before lockdown started. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah, no, this was a winter series, so this was beginning of 2020.
But the fact that I remember so much from this, because I do remember a lot from this, is a good sign for the show. It means it's left an impact. Like, I mean, what I really liked about the show is the use of the background music. They used Navi songs really, really well in that episode with the burning building. They used Butterfly. It's a really good song, and it really served to really hype up what Sakaido was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Sakaido being the Idwell version of Naruto, I clarify.
Yeah.
And speaking of Sakaido, him and I don't remember what Fuku. Doesn't really matter because he wasn't actually a great detective in well because he gained his memories. But his and Sakaido's like back and forth were just so fantastic when they were in the same Idwell that one time. Like just the banter between them.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Again, how do you
Not to
make
mention Honda Machi too.
Honda Machi
Just
was
like whenever she
fantastic.
was in the well.
Yeah, Honda Machi was fantastic. Again, it's strong female character that you know, is not defined by gender. It's
She
not defined by Preston men. Just gets the fucking job done.
yeah. No, she's great. She's really great. And oh man. We could talk about this show for hours, to be honest.
I mean, the last thing I want to say is that the villain was a little telegraphed. I'm not sure if there was anyone who didn't know that it was the police chief who was the villain in the end, but I still think it worked well.
It was very obvious.
It was
Yeah.
obvious, but I mean, I don't feel like every anime needs a twist like that with their villain. It can just sometimes be
It doesn't
the most obvious option.
true. Anyways, what's up next?
Inspector, another.
Oh yes, Inspector was a fun time. That one was a lot different from ID Invaded, and yet simultaneously quite similar. That both were primarily mystery series.
Inspector was very. Inspector didn't solve issues via action. It was very much about winning battles of wits, and lying your ass off at times. Uh,
Kotoko is such a little shit, and I love her.
she is. She is. She was fantastic. Uh, And I do think that
Like, her dynamic with Kuro basically made the show. I
yeah.
think.
Oh, it did. Definitely did. I mean
Like,
the
the show would not have worked if not for that dynamic.
no, I agree. The dynamic was one that worked. The I do have a couple of negatives to the show. The first is that it
Yeah,
was a little bit slow. Uh,
yeah.
it
That
only
that's probably the biggest issue is that
yeah,
it was fairly slow paced.
it only covered two arcs basically. The first being sort of the time skip Zero to and sort of role and power set. Second one, Steel Beam, say, which again, I mean, it was a really,
Oh yeah,
I
Steel Girder Nanase.
yeah, I was never left like bored by the show. It's just it was noticeably slow. I don't. It's certainly
Yeah.
not slow in a negative way. Like I would say, for example, like I felt the Dragon Quest was, or something like Yashahime. Like
Oh god.
it's not
Let's not
so.
even get into Yashahime.
I mean, we're not going to discuss Yashahime. Neither of us likes it. Uh, but it was not. It was never so slow that I, felt like I'm not that interested. I was always interested in what happened next. I just, it was slow, and therefore, that can turn people off. The other major issue
Yep.
is basically the sniping between Kotoko and Sakio. Having
Yeah, that was
it's not
yeah.
good to have your two main female characters spend their time alone bickering over a guy. Like
Yeah, that was a big issue.
it's not a good look, and I'm
No.
fairly from what I remember, it does get better throughout the show, but
It does.
it is something that drags it down still. Over.
Yeah. No, that is the biggest issue. Like beyond the is definitely the relationship between the two female leads.
Yeah, but be but
But overall, it's still an excellent mystery series.
oh no, it is,
Like
and
it has
like
some good supernatural bullshit going on.
yeah, and outside of those moments of sniping, both Kotoko and Saki are really good characters. Why it's such a shame that doing that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Regardless, I do appreciate that the series did improve overall.
yeah. Oh no, it definitely improved.
It
And
also had one of the funniest post time skip introductions for a major character I've seen.
yeah,
Just Coach Coat introducing herself and almost immediately declaring that she got laid. Just it's just so in character for her, and it
yeah,
works perfectly.
yeah. The last thing that I want to mention about it is that it has an absolutely fantastic opening.
Oh yeah, the OP and ED for Inspector are excellent, especially the ED, which is just jazzy goodness.
Well, it's fucking sung by Mamoru Miyano, which is I mean
He
anytime
was
you've got a show
great.
anytime you've got a show with him in is a good time. But him having him sing was just even better. The only thing that could have made it even better was if there was sort of more proper on-screen dancing.
Motion.
Yeah. There was a little bit of
Yeah.
dancing, but it was mostly them on their own. If they'd been dancing together and consistently, that would have brought it into top tier and would have actually, in my mind, would have actually sort of put it on a level with ID Invasion Kaisen.
Speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen, that's next.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this one for a while.
Let's not talk about it for too long, man. We're going to have a podcast episode where we discuss this one.
We are, but we're not at the halfway point, but we're over the halfway point of the list, so I think we could spend a little bit of time talking about
The let's just start by getting this out of the way. The OP and the ED are fucking bangers.
They are. They absolutely are. ED in particular.
Oh yeah, no, the ED it just fucking jams out, and it is something else.
I mean, what I've started doing is actually listening to it while I make food, just fucking dancing along to it. It's just so fucking catchy.
It really is. It's just like how do you make an ending song that good? God damn. Yeah.
Getting into the meat of the show. Panda Best Boy.
I see you one panda. You know what? I can't raise you. Panda is fucking amazing.
I mean,
I will say though,
he has a fucking
like
scene where he goes me panda, me no human speech.
yeah. Honestly, like one of my favorite comedic sequences in the series is just the scene with Panda training Obara
Oh
and
yeah.
just like straight up fucking eating her over the track field, and it's just so funny.
I mean, here's the thing.
I also love Nobara because she's such a wonderful shit.
Oh, she is. But here's the thing about
She's such
Jujutsu
a wonderful.
Kaisen. This is very much dark shonen. This is darker than a lot of the shonen in Shonen Jump right now. And yet,
Oh
it's
yeah,
got
no, it is an action horror
yeah.
series.
And yet, it's got some of the best comedic chops in the entire magazine. Better than some of the comedies. Like,
I mean, some of the comedies are just really not great
I mean,
though.
yeah, some of the comedies are terrible, but still, even some of the good comedies, I think that Jujutsu Kaisen does comedy better. I mean, just the fucking second year's introduction, like fucking Nobara and Megumi are sitting dejected after they think Itadori has died. Fucking Maki comes up and goes, "What is this? A funeral?" Fucking Panda goes, Maki, somebody did actually die." "Why didn't you
What?
tell me before? Now I look like a monster. You are a monster." It's just Nobara's like, "Who are they?" "Oh, that's Maki.
Yeah, they love all these idiots.
That's Maki. That's Inamaki Senpai. And that's Panda." Not gonna say anything about Panda. It's just the comedic chart. It's just, and then like fucking Nanamede's introduction. Like, "Oh, why did you stop becoming a Jujutsu sorcerer?" "Because I think Jujutsu sorcerers are shit. So I went back to the workforce, but I
Okay,
found
then
something else out. Office workers are shit." So I decided, what the hell, I'd be a Jujutsu sorcerer." It's just, you've got fucking
that's
Gojo and
great.
Yuji just like,
Uh,
"He's intense. I know, he's scary."
I do appreciate him also. I also appreciate him just straight up roasting Gojo
Oh
like it
yeah.
ain't no thing.
I
Even
mean,
though we saw like a couple episodes earlier how just overpowered as fuck Gojo is.
it's fair. Gojo is a lot. One of the things that I love about
Gojo
the
is such a shit.
yeah, one of the things I absolutely love about the anime is that it shows with the little skits at the end of each episode. It shows some basically everyday life for the characters, which I really love because I've it's not a massive negative for the manga, but I do like wish that we just got more downtime with these characters because I love them so much, and it's just so great getting to see them do this in the anime. We've got one where fucking Gojo drew a dick on a piece of paper and stuck it in Naname's pocket.
I do love how Gojo is just as inclined to use his powers to kill curses as he is to use his powers to be a shit stirrer. It's just so great
That was
how much Gojo is just like a mischievous little bastard.
yeah, and that's set up so well in his introduction when he's fighting Sukuna. This is basically deity of curses, and he's talking about the souvenirs that he bought while dodging every attack.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he just toys with Sukuna, and even though it's like only a fraction of Sukuna's power, he also says like he is completely confident that he could beat Sukuna at full strength.
I mean, here's the thing. He,
No
wa-
cap.
he Here's the thing. Gojo was nowhere near serious in that fight.
No, he wasn't.
He
He
was
was just toying with Sukuna.
he was just pissing around, and it was great. Like,
Not,
oh
and then we actually see him fight for real later in the series. Like I think it's episode 7,
yeah, against
and
Jogo.
against the curse, who's outright said to be about 8 or 9 times stronger than Sukuna was when Gojo fought him, and Gojo just curb stomps the other curse.
Yeah,
It's not. It's just not even a joke to Gojo.
yeah. At this point in the anime, we have not seen Gojo at all serious. Like,
No, we haven't. He straight up dicks around with the curse too, and he takes a break from the fight to go get Yuji to show him how fighting works.
here's another gag. Here's another fantastic gag when the curse that Jogo is very much volcano themed. when when Yuji sees him, he goes, "Mount Fuji. His head is Mount Fuji." It's just- and then there's
I
later,
do love Yuji.
yeah. And then there's later in
Yuji
the
is such a good protagonist.
yeah. But then there's later in that same fight when Jogo is escaping with the cursed spirit, and and you're just like, "Go get him. I'll be fine." Gets caught up in a vine. "Help me! I'm not fine. I was lying." And then, and then he's like,
Honestly, speaking of Yuji though,
"Yeah.
speaking of Yuji, I think he's just like a really good shonen protagonist.
Oh, he
Like
is.
he has a lot. He's a good soft boy, but he's also like he also has a rough edge to him that a lot of other soft boy protagonists
Yeah.
don't, and that edge develops over the course of the series, particularly like the first stretch in particular develops focus on his development into a slightly more hardened fighter.
Yeah. No, I
And
he definitely is the based on the archetype of the typical shonen pro tag. Physically above average, a little dim. Wants to do the right thing, but Jutsu is not a typical shonen manga, and so as he experiences more and more the dark side of things, he does start to develop more and more of an edge. And you especially see that in the fight against Mahito.
which is a fucking phenomenal fight, by the way.
Oh, it absolutely is. It might honestly be my
It's the fight
favorite
that
fight of the
caps
season.
off the first core.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm just trying.
like honestly, I do have to say though, it is very satisfying to see Mahito get the ever loving shit kicked out of him.
Oh, and that's absolutely why I
Like,
chose that bit to make into the GIF for the fight. Like, because it is just so it's just such an asshole, and
yeah,
especially for us as manga readers, I'm not gonna say else. It's always so satisfying to watch shit stomped so comprehensively. Just see his oh shit moment when Uchi forces his way into his suddenly.
oh yeah. Speaking of his domain, that was fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, I mean, all of the domains. So I mean, there's only been what three
Three.
or
We've only seen three.
four.
Four. We've seen
Four.
four.
We've
Sukuna.
seen Sukuna's,
Sukuna was the first we saw,
which
and
was
then we
pretty
saw
that
Jogo, and
nephew-ish.
yeah.
Jogo's, which was sort of meh in general, but then we had Gojo's, which was also because we got
Oh
to
yeah.
see Gojo's Bishonen face.
Oh yeah. No. The thirst on social media was real after as soon as his face got revealed.
I apologize for
It
nothing.
was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Like His eyes are just so pretty, man.
Just admit that you fell in love at first sight.
I'm not going to argue with that. Like, it's just eyes are so beautiful. And then obviously, yes, we did see Mahito's, which was horrifying. But just that oh shit of oh no. Hi Sukuna.
Oh yeah, no. Oh no, no. Like, as soon as Mahito unlocks his domain, like the first word out of Nanami's mouth is shit,
Oh yeah.
because he realizes how screwed he is up until Yuji dives in and drops Sukuna on the bastard.
Well, it's Mahito's fault. If he hadn't been so busy fucking loading, he take that Nanami out. Instead, he gave you a chance
Yeah,
to.
no, yeah, that's Mahito's big problem. He just loves gloating way too much.
Yeah.
Well, one of his many problems. His other big problem is that he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. The other thing that we haven't mentioned at this point is Kyoto students. That's it, Kyoto. Just trying to remember.
Oh yeah,
Guys.
Toto.
Fucking Toto, I love
My
him. He's so fucking
Toto's
dumb.
great.
So dumb. I love him to bits. Like,
He's so dumb, but he's so cool.
yeah. I mean, he genuinely
Also,
beats the
I
shit
do
out of
love the
Megumi.
whole. Yeah, I do love the post credits scene for that episode because it's just like Toto's like, "Hey Mai, let me show you my favorite idol. Please meet my favorite idol." And it as like his favorite idol seems to actually come on to Mai, which is just like. Speaking of which, like, there isn't actually any real romance in the show,
No.
and the closest we get to any actual romantic relationship is Nobara's admiration for Maki, I think,
Yeah. I mean, I've said
which is
this. I've said this to you
subtext
in the
at most,
Discord. Yeah. I've not thought about romance at all for this series.
which makes sense because there's no real romance focused on in the series.
No, I
Like
agree.
as I said,
Yeah. But yeah.
Nobara's admiration for Maki is the closest thing we get to anything resembling romantic subtext, and if it is anything, it is subtext at this point.
Yeah. Yes, Tiago, I agree. Gojo's strongest power being hot as fuck.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong. You should have seen like Twitter and Tumblr
Oh
just
no,
losing their absolute shit.
I did fucking see it. I liked dozens of fucking just Gojo shots of just his head and shoulders. Like there wasn't even that much variation in the situation. It was just Gojo's head and shoulders in different art styles, and they all looked fucking amazing because
So
he is
pretty.
beautiful.
Hey, I'm not normally attracted to guys, but Gojo look kind of hot though.
I am, and he's very hot.
Oh yeah. God, this series is really good, and we
Yeah.
are going to be spending an actual podcast episode gushing about it.
Well,
But for right
we'll be
now, we
talking
do
about
need to move
the
on.
manga in that one as well, which is obviously further ahead.
I think we're going to cover the first season of the anime. Probably is what we're probably going to do.
We'll see. We'll have to have a discussion on it.
Yeah. Regardless, next up is Kaguya-sama season 2.
I haven't watched this yet.
Oh my god, man!
I did get
Honestly, like the
I
second season, second. Oh, sorry.
I all I was gonna say is I just sort of got put off by some talking about God. That those people
Ah,
are sort of awful. I'm not gonna name names.
yeah, no, you don't need to. I already know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kaguya-sama season 2, I think is better than the first season in basically every way.
Well, doesn't
Like
it expand the
it's a
cast
step.
more?
it expands the cast a bit, and it also expands on the cast as well, quite a bit. It gives a lot of them character development, and Ishigami especially gets a lot of character growth this season.
Well, I think that was one of the issues of the first season, is that it only, but certainly the first of 6, 7 episodes, it was very much just focused on the three main characters. That, there's only so many crazy situations they could put them in. Even when adding Ishigami, there's only again so many situations that more of them. So adding more people
It
certainly
really
gives them
worked.
more options.
Yes, there is always subtext. Regardless. Yeah, no, Ishigami getting a lot of development at the tail end of the season helped a lot, but the big thing was decentralizing the cast and giving a lot of the supporting characters time to shine.
Yeah,
Like Hayasaka gets a couple of great segments to herself, and they're both fucking hilarious.
yeah,
It's just really good comedy, and I if nothing else, just like if you like the first season, great, you will love the second season. If you didn't like the first season, you might actually like the second season because it just improves on the first in every way.
yeah. I mean, I definitely intend to
Yeah,
give it a try. Hayasaka
yeah. Oh,
definitely does
Hayasaka
deserve a raise.
absolutely needs a raise.
Even as somebody who
She
just watched
she
the first
deserves
season,
so much.
even as somebody who watched only watched the first season, she deserves a fucking raise.
That poor girl. God. Moving on to Kakushigoto.
This was probably my
Hime!
this is probably my favorite spring show. I mean, that's out of like 4 shows at most, but I would still say that it was my favorite. Spring was a really
I
dry
really
season, y'all.
enjoyed this one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. This was a fun show though. My big issue with it was all the fucking Japanese wordplay.
yeah.
Like I did not catch half of it.
I think it's to the show's credit that it did have so much wordplay that we the Western audience weren't able to catch, and yet both of us still think it was a really fun show.
Oh yeah, no, it was still funny as hell, even if I didn't catch like half the jokes. I know for a fact I missed several of the jokes because they were untranslatable or like just very difficult to explain.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't really mind that. I still think this
Oh, I
show is
don't either.
superb. I mean, this fucking just characters like Tomaruin, the editor, just his constant dumbassery. Like that
Oh, he's such a fun. He's so fun to hate.
he's the closest thing Kakushigoto had to an antagonist, and somewhere a former editor of the author of this manga was sat there either reading the manga or watching the show, going, "This me."
Where's the lie? Like, it,
But there's
I can tell for a fact that like this was definitely based off of one of the author's editors.
yeah.
100%.
But there's this just scenes like when he lost manuscript to a latest chapter down a well. And his fucking wailing down there made Goto and Hime think it was a ghost.
Oh my god. Also, Hime is just really precious.
Hime is adorable.
She's just such a wonderful character, and
Yeah.
I love her to pieces. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got my own issues with the show. Well, issue.
Oh,
Um,
what's the big issue?
it's pretty
Is
much
it the ending?
yeah, it's the ending. I felt like it was just a bit rushed. if anything, because you finally find
Yeah,
out
that is
what
my
happened
big issue
to.
as well.
We finally find out what happened to Goto, and then it was just fixed that same episode. Just felt like there wasn't enough build up for it. It could have
Yeah.
felt like it could have gone for another episode and would have hit harder emotionally. Um, there's also the fact that at the start of or the first half of that episode, you got the fucking kabuki actor stuff, which just felt really weird, out of place. It was just
Oh yeah.
it just seemed like it was a gag to explain why Goto is so dramatic.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Yeah. It really just it did not work great in some regards, but at the same time, like
I
in
mean,
other respects, it worked really well.
I still think the ending was good. It certainly wasn't a bad ending. Just it's just that for pretty much the entire run of the show, I was expecting to cry during the finale, and I didn't.
Oh yeah.
And that
Yeah.
it's not a failure, but it just does make me slightly disappointed. Which seems weird. I shouldn't be disappointed at not crying, but in this context, I am.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Uh
No, but
oh, are we gonna move on?
yeah, to my absolute favorite anime of the year.
I still
Keep
don't
your
know
hands
what.
off Azerkin.
I still don't know whether I'm gonna put this or Jujutsu Kaisen first. I'm
They're
still
both
not
really
sure.
fucking good series.
But this is a
They're
show
really
we're probably gonna spend a long time gushing about.
I mean, how can we not?
I mean,
It's just
it's just so fucking good. It really is. Everything about it. I mean, just the music, the acting, the shape. I mean, the animated scenes that the girls, in universe make were just so spectacular, so well done.
it's just like it is a love letter to not just animation but creative endeavors in general,
Yeah.
and it is a thing of beauty to see unfold
Oh, it
as
is.
it
Yeah.
like watching how everything plays out, how everything comes to life. I was left speechless at several points. It was just jaw dropping, and honestly, I, I I I don't have the words to describe it. It's wonderful.
And then we come to the completely on point comedy. Like like when Kanamori is trying to hold this like serious meeting, uh Midori and Tsubame keep getting distracted by things and doing a stupid little dance. Uh
Oh my god. Oh, and let's not forget the whole blackmail thing that she engages in.
I mean, Kanamori is basically a yakuza. I mean,
Yeah,
at one
she
point,
kind of is.
one point she literally like cuts through a lock and barges a door down.
It's so perfect. It's just really God. Kanamori is probably one of the best characters in introduced in any anime this year. She's just like an MVP throughout the
Yeah,
season.
I mean my favorite was Midori just because.
Oh, I love Midori quite possibly more, but they're all three of the main girls are great.
I mean, all three of them are fantastic. My preference is for Midori just because she's so relatable in terms of creator. Like
Yeah,
when she
I
has a
can relate
crisis
hard to
over
her.
the mech and whether to make it more fantastical or more realistic, and what members of both sides would say, her being confused about that and knowing what to do about that. That's just feels so relatable.
It really does. Like
Uh,
Mi- Midori strikes me as like a perfect example of an ADHD
yeah,
or someone on the autism spectrum,
yeah,
and she's just really really relatable in that regard
yeah.
because I grew up with ADHD, so I can relate to that very much.
But then there's just the fucking
But yeah, no, she's
when she fucking cosplayed as Miyazaki. That was just so
oh my
hilarious.
god, oh my god,
I had that
that was wonderful.
as my fucking Discord avatar for a while, just because it made me laugh so hard.
Midori is just such a perfect protagonist for this kind of series. And just seeing her grow and develop as she learns the ins and outs of animation, it's just so excellent.
Even better is that the character designs are not your typical cute anime.
No, they're not. They all look like
Actual high
realistic.
schoolers. Yeah, the only one who comes close to that is Tsubame, and that's because she's a fucking model.
Yeah, no, she's supposed to look pretty.
Yeah,
That's kind of the point.
I mean Midori is just a fucking gremlin.
She's a wonderful little gremlin, and I love her to death. If anything bad happened to her, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Agreed. I would help.
Ah, God.
I mean,
Anyways,
then there's the fucking club advisor. I think his name is Fujimoto or something
oh
like
yes,
that.
I love him.
He's just constantly playing
Yep.
video games. Like they're in a meeting with the school board and the council, and he's just got a fucking Game Boy under the desk, just playing a game.
It's one. Oh, we should also talk about how awesome the supporting cast is
Oh yeah, because
because
we
all
also
of them are just great too.
we also had Domeki, another great DLC character.
Yep.
And we had the we had the student council. God, the fucking student council meeting where like the student council are trying to take the Isaacon Club to task, and Kanamori's like, actually, this is the school's issue. Do you wanna ask them about this? And all the teachers like, no, no, arms crossed, no, we don't want to deal with this.
I gotta say, like, I do love how Azoken has several supporting cast members who are POC.
Hmm.
I love how diverse the environment is,
Yeah,
but also I just love how in control of everything the student council is. I normally hate the super powerful student council trope, but in this case, it works really well.
yeah. I mean, at this fucking student council meeting, they had the security club like just holding back a crowd in full riot gear.
Uh, that was great. Just that was wonderful to watch.
Oh god! And then there was the fucking.
Oh god, I could gush about this show all day.
I want to keep gushing about it because we've got more than enough time. We've only got 10 more shows, and we are an hour and 45 before our hard deadline. So I think we can
I want to gush about the animation then, because holy fucking
I mean,
shit.
the animation, it's fucking Yuasa, and like I
Yeah, no,
I have
but
serious
I
issues with Devilman Crybaby. One thing I cannot fault it for is its animation, superb,
oh
and it,
yeah
that
no
and if you didn't like the content in Devilman Crybaby, and I completely understand if you didn't, it was horrible.
oh yeah
Watch
no
Aizoken
same.
because you get all of the fantastic animation, but also with much more added story.
Eizouken is a love letter to animation,
Oh,
I
it
would say,
absolutely is.
and
Absolutely is.
it shows the it shows the process of animation
Yeah,
in a very detailed way. Like it shows how people grow and develop the story of an animation, and it shows how all that comes together in a marvelous fashion.
yeah,
Like the when we see the girls put together their tank versus soldier short, that is fucking amazing. And the way it's shown to be presented, it feels so real to the students that they feel like they're actually there.
yeah.
And the way it just, oh my god, it just looks great. Oh god damn it. I'm in love with this series. I just, it's so
I am
wonderful.
as well. It's only because Jujutsu Kaisen has been so good. It's competing. Aizoken has been top of my list entire year.
Honestly, this is the third year in a row that a winter series is my anime of the year, and Eizouken earned that crown so hard.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is the fucking Met Club and the Met Club president. Like as he's ranting and raving, Kanamori's like, "I wish I had some up," and then it's just I think she's like, "This is why I hate him." You know, trying to do business in such an emotional way, and then you cut to Tsubame and Midori, and they're just like just as emotional, and they all three of them just shake hands in solidarity. Oh god,
Wonderful. It really just captures the spirit of being a nerd.
yeah, it really does.
Oh god.
That's not even
This
sort of
thing
mentioning
is just like,
the heartwarming character moments, like Tsubame being really worried about what her parents would think, and them actually approving after seeing fruits of their labor.
that was wonderful. What was also wonderful was just like seeing the environment uh, of the school and the world, uh, and seeing that unfold too.
I mean, I'm not surprised Midori was completely inspired to create concepts based on that place because Jesus Christ, what creative wouldn't?
It's like an environmental designer's dream come
Yeah,
true.
I mean the fucking staff room is in a like in a pool.
Yeah, it's in a drained out pool. Dorks United indeed.
Yeah.
God damn.
Okay. Should we move on then?
We should move on because at this rate we will spend the next 20 to 30 minutes just gushing at random about
Gushing about the
individual scenes and
minutia.
elements. We could honestly make a whole podcast episode about Azoken.
Probably could. Anyway then. Okay then. Moving on. The top entry in This Had No Right Being was Natsu Verite.
Oh yeah, that what turned out to be much better than expected. Partially because it's an adaptation of a mobile game that does not have a an American export,
It does now.
and
It does.
unlike
It does.
Shironeko Project, oh, okay.
I
Well, unlike
I
Sure Project,
downloaded it
which
after the
was a
finale.
colossal clusterfuck. Jesus, I need to find that. Yeah, no. But unlike Sure Project, which was a clusterfuck, this actually turned out pretty well. Like,
I mean, I would
it
say this turned
it
out
does.
very well. I
Yeah.
mean, the
No. I
Magatsu Verai. I will type the name in chat. Like it's I would advise watching the anime before the game because the anime is a prequel. I'm not
yeah. It's
sure how much impact it actually has on the game yet. I haven't actually played much of it at all. I just played enough to get an idea of what the when the game is set. It's set about I think 20 years or so after the anime,
okay. I see.
which is I learned that when I saw our good old protag boy Leocadio as a grizzled old vet.
Interesting. Interesting. I see.
Yeah, the one negative about this show is that the ending is very much a play the game end, which
Yeah.
honestly it is disappointing, but I expected, and I'm honestly not that bothered. I still think it was actually a really good ending for characters. I think it managed to end the arcs of the two main characters really well.
Yeah. It felt like it was conclusive, but open to what comes next.
Yeah,
It didn't feel like oh, uh, fuck you. You have to buy our product now.
yeah.
Mwahaha. It was more of a open-ended type deal.
Like if I wasn't to play the game, I
Like,
feel like I would be quite happy knowing that Leo and best boy Arnold. I'm so glad he survived. That man Arnold survived
oh yeah.
so many
Speaking
death
of good,
flags and so many stereotypes.
oh
No,
yeah, Arnold is another good POC
I was about
character.
to say another great POC character who had chances to die in a horror movie style first, and he fucking didn't. So fight against those stereotypes, Arnold. Keep going, buddy.
Yeah. I also gotta say, like, the finale all and the series in general had some fantastic body horror stuff in it.
Oh yeah,
Like Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell were
it
the
does not
creators
hold
on?
back on that. It does not hold back on that at all.
It is disturbing as hell, man.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find the uh, character.
I also have to say, like, I do appreciate that for the most part there isn't any real like a male gaze
Oh
on
no,
the female
definitely.
characters.
No, there is. I wouldn't say there's any at all, really.
Yeah. No, it's really good about how it treats its female characters for the most part. And my one complaint would be that they kind of get sidelined a bit.
Yeah, I think Shaka's role in the
But
finale
like
was a bit disappointing, but again, I think that finale was very much more
it was
about
much more about Leo and Inomile.
well, no, it was about ending characters' arcs, and her arc was very much tied to her relationship with her father. So it always made sense that she wasn't going to, in the capital, fighting off the end times. More about confronting her father about what had happened. I do think that that what happened there was a bit sudden, but I still think it was pretty good. Oh,
Mm, yeah, no. Like I said, the series, like we said, the series was a pleasant surprise overall. And I will say it was unfortunately rather underrated.
oh yeah, I mean, I've just been looking in its now page. It's got a fucking 6.6. It does not deserve a 6 point.
Honestly, like it deserves like a whole point above that.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, in the first half, the main villain was Hellman, fucking Kenshiro Suda voiced bastard. You have
Oh
no
my god, it was fun. It
you
was
you
fun messing with you about that.
you the audience have no idea how much I cheered when that son of a bitch got stabbed through the not
And
just
then he came back later anyways.
yeah. I mean, I knew that would happen because he was left in the fucking like body horror transformation place. But like I was still just glad they died. Not just because he was voiced by Kenjiro Suda, because he was also like a horrific psychopath.
Oh yeah, no, he was a shit.
Like, like he was genuinely awful. But I mean, he was necessary
Yeah, no,
because
he was straight up trying to murder a civilian when he got
yeah,
shanked.
yeah. But he very much plays into Leocardio's arc, which is, and some people have labeled Leo as the boring protagonist of Natsuvera. Cough, ANN, cough. Uh, but I honestly think he's really
Yeah.
interesting because he joins the army to help his family and to serve his country, and over the course of the show finds out that the army and the government are corrupt as fuck, and is forced to choose where he wants to stand. He does choose the right side. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, and Kenjiro Suda's character is basically emblematic of that corruption.
Yeah, but like he's probably not. He's not as relatable as Inamile, who is literally just a regular guy thrown into this insane shit, who never really wanted to be there, but just kept offering to help because he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he just had really shit luck.
I mean that poor bastard. I'm glad he survived though, in some shape or form.
Oh yeah, no. He deserved that. He very much deserved to live.
I'm glad Ben did as well. Ben didn't really do much during the show, but he was a nice guy, and I would have been upset if he was just like abruptly killed off in the destruction.
Oh yeah, I was worried that he would just suddenly get like lol JK ambush killed
Yeah, especially when we
at
saw
the
that the
end.
corpse of that insane scientist was missing.
Oh yeah, that fucker.
Again, I can
Ah,
only assume like all of these little bits that were left open are relevant in the game. That is obviously my assumption. I am, but I'd
yeah,
be
no,
surprised if it
that would
wasn't
be
because it would feel weird to have this stuff and then not have it play a role in the game you want people to play.
yeah.
And I feel like Magatsu
It
Verite has earned enough goodwill to like do that, to like expect that it does that sort of thing.
yeah. No, I feel like as a game prologue, it works both as a standalone story and as a game prologue.
Yeah,
Because the story overall wraps up the arcs of the characters, but it also showcases like how the world got to be in the state that it is, and that's kind of the point of the series, like showing how it gets into a post-apocalyptic state.
yeah. I mean, speaking of the world, I mean, kudos to the show because it does.
Zalando!
But kudos to the show because it does takes a risk in that it's got this fairly interesting world with magic and technology existing, but all these proper nouns and everything, but it never really sort of overloaded you with exposition.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate the lack of like info dumps. That helps a lot.
It showed you what was happening and allowed you to make the connections yourself without having to just keep telling you over and over again. Which again is something that fucking sides come back.
Yeah, I don't know what their deal is.
I mean, literally, they criticized it because it made them. I think that's more of a you. It's a Magatsu variety.
Yeah. Regardless, do you want to move on to the next show on the list then?
Yes, this is
This is a show that you watched.
This is a
That I
show
did
that
not.
just I watched. A Fujo Keiji Millionaire Detective. This show really shouldn't have been good. It is about it. Yeah, like this show is about a rich asshole who uses his money to get the stuff he wants, and it really should not be good, and yet it is because I mean he absolutely starts off as this rich asshole. In fact, when I was writing about the premiere, I said that he had to progress at least a little bit, because otherwise, an 11-episode show about a rich douchebag, just no matter how hilarious the OST singing Fujo Keiji, which I think means Balance Unlimited, was, which was hilarious. Just like it's this fucking choir singing it as he just somebody off. It was funny to me. But that's the thing; he does soften over the course of the next episodes, which are more episodic, and more about the character development. I mean, an episode where instead of basically telling a kid that his dog died because the kid was a bit of an idiot by letting him off the lead, went out and paid to get basically I think it was the sibling of the dog, give it to the kid and pretend that it was the same dog. Is like a big move for somebody who, the first episode, literally let the other protagonist Haru drop off a bridge into a river. Like it. I mean, there was I think the episode after that, or maybe I think it was the episode after that. Spends the night at Haru's, like living like a normal person. He doesn't like shit on it, which is what usually rich assholes do. They shit on the living conditions of the poor, but Daisuke actually learned from it and actually took on board some of the things. Uh, then we get the overarching story. I think the ending was a bit rough to it, but I'll get to that. Basically, the overarching story is that there is a case that the veteran in Daisuke and Haru's squad working on for decades also involves Daisuke's father, and Haru and Daisuke eventually hunt him down. Unfortunately, it turns out that it's not Daisuke's dad. It's actually Daisuke's grandmother and their butler. The butler was pretending to be Daisuke's dad, which doesn't. I felt that Daisuke's dad had been set up as the villain really well. Like, he had personal connection to Daisuke. He had the ability to mess with OP systems that Daisuke had been at that point. Once he killed the veteran Cho, gave Haru a reason to go after him and him as well. Whereas making the villains Daisuke's grandma and the butler, that wasn't really set up at all. They got like maybe 2 scenes in the entire show before the finale, and it just sort of didn't work.
Oh boy, that's not good foreshadowing at
No,
all.
yeah, it was really weird, really really weird. Like I have no idea why they chose to do that, because up until then it'd been working really really well. So it was just confusing. But overall, this show is dumb fun. There's not a huge amount of depth to it. It's all about the odd couple of Haru and Daisuke and the overarching plot, which to be fair, at points did get like really serious. Like when the butler posing as Daisuke's dad killed Cho and another member of the police force, like pretty brutally as well. Like that was genuinely a really serious moment in a show that up until then had been a bunch of dumbasses. I mean, there was a scene where Daisuke and Haru's police squad being investigated for their actions on a case, and like beforehand, they're all like, "Don't worry, we're in this together. Don't." No, we'll all take the blame for this. And as soon as they get in there, the entire squad just goes, "It's all Haru's fault. It's all his fault." Just like, you guys, what the hell? And they're just like,
Yeah,
sorry.
I could have seen that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but it's just
a very predictable punchline.
The immediate, the speed with which they just threw him under the bus was just fantastic. Oh, yeah,
That was like a fun time.
This is a dumb show, and like I'm not gonna like Daisuke is certainly an acquired taste. I really like him because, especially with his Japanese voice, the seiyuu for him has only done that role, and he has a really unique voice that I really like. Plays well with his stunning good looks. Like you say, like you say, we know that Gojo was a thirst trap. Daisuke was also a thirst trap. That was his good looks were the main reason Millionaire Detective got any attention whatsoever. Like that motherfucker was trending on Twitter. That motherfucker trended on Twitter because of how good he looked.
Oh, fucking course he did.
But I mean, the show was also bookended by, as I said in the first episode, Daisuke let Haru drop from a bridge into a river. He did the same thing at the end of the last episode, which is a nice bookend as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I did enjoy the show in the end. It's not got enough depth to it to really make it into sort of my upper echelon, but it was a really fun show. It was only 11 episodes, so it didn't take that much time either.
Well, speaking of 11-episode shows, Moriarty the Patriot.
Yeah.
God. AKA Eat the Rich, the anime.
Yeah, I mean, these Moriarty and Millionaire Detective are right next to each other in my rankings. So I started the Millionaire Detective bit from saying, from a show about Eat the Rich to a show starring the rich. So turn that around.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
From a show from a show starring the rich to a show about Eat the Rich. Because yeah, this is very much, this is not kind to the upper class.
No. I mean, it takes place in Victorian England. Do you expect it to be nice to the upper class?
No.
Because it really shouldn't be.
No, it really shouldn't be.
Especially with how Victorian England had its nobility.
Yeah, now, like, as a history graduate, yeah, I know Victorian England sucked. It was real bad, y'all.
Like, it did a good. The show did a very good job of it illustrating just how despicable the upper class could be.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the villains is a guy who hunts peasants for sports. Just to give you an idea.
Yeah, I mean yeah, it definitely makes the stuff that happens to the aristocrat feel deserved. Like the guy that you mentioned that hunted the peasants, like he literally gets revealed as a murderer in front of like his entire peer group, and like,
oh yeah, that was cathartic.
And I don't remember. Does he die some way?
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah. And again,
Yeah, he gets he falls from the mast of the ship.
oh, that's right, yeah. And yeah, it feels entirely justified because he was fucking out. The other one is like the other one that I really like just because of its parallels is you dude killed a servant girl
Oh
and
yeah.
drugs a student. The relationship between the two is scandalous. Like, and it's and the,
Oh yeah, that guy was a fucking asshole.
yeah, he was, but his death is parallel because the girl was drugged and died dancing and then died while dancing and
Well,
fell into a river. He was forced to dance by gunshots until he fell into the river. Like
yeah, that was great.
that's just delicious irony.
Yeah, Moriarty really just loves those poetic deaths
Yeah.
quite a bit.
That said,
I do
I do have a couple of issues.
as one of those issues Sherlock Holmes
Sort of. I like Sherlock
because
in
I actually
general.
like Sherlock Holmes in this.
Hmm.
I,
No,
I
I do like Sherlock in general. My issue is just that um, the two-parter that takes his perspective is probably the worst part of this first call, which isn't it isn't the show's fault. It does the best with it that it can. It's just that we've seen the Sherlock Holmes, John Watson so many times. There's only so
yeah,
many
that's really
times you
not
can.
the show's fault.
It's not the show's fault at all. It isn't, and neither is the other issue I have. To be brutally honest, I've been.
It's one of those things where like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It is sort of broken, but at the same time, what are they supposed to do? Just not do it? Like they do have to do it. So I understand, and as I said, they did the best with it that they could. It's just that it just was not as interesting as the rest of it. I so much preferred to see things
I can see
um
that.
from Moriarty's perspective than I did from. I think that's what
I can.
like I think that's what Moriarty what's so good about Moriarty is that because we've seen the tale of Sherlock Holmes is one that's been told so many times. Uh, and Moriarty turns that on its head by having the rival, the nemesis, be the character.
Yeah, but the last 4 episodes of the season are mostly focused on Sherlock,
Yeah,
which I think actually works in the case of the 2-part finale for
the
the
two-part
the
finale
core.
worked well. I did like the two-part finale. I didn't like the final episode as a finale, but I do think that the two-part finale or the last two episodes good good Moriarty episodes.
Well, the thing is, it's a split core series,
I
so we're only going
know,
to get a core off.
I know, I do understand it, and I think it would be really interesting to know whether it was always intended to be a split core or if it was forced by the pandemic. But at the same time,
The latter case is the case with another show on this list.
yeah, but yeah, I just feel like if there had been one scene with Moriarty and his crew that had sort of a more climactic feeling to it, I feel like that episode 11 would be a far better finale. The fact that it didn't just felt more like the ending to just another episode really hurt it, in my opinion. Like
Yeah, I can see that.
I justifiably can't rank it above shows that had good endings or had endings that felt like endings at all.
Mm,
Which is a shame because I've really enjoyed the show. This show has been third in my bowl rankings pretty much all season.
same, honestly. Like it's been consistently very good.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think we could move on to one of your all-time favorite shows.
Well, I just wanted to mention the my two favorite, well, sort of arcs, the two-parters that I enjoyed the most, two sort of cases that I enjoyed the most. The first one was the origin story two-parter. I
Oh,
think
that one was good.
I
Yeah.
think that really set things up really well. Just the fucking like eeriness of Moriarty, just fantastic, especially at the end where Albert is
Mhm.
there listening, confronts him, and you see all the kids in the background. Like you obviously because of the
Oh
first
yeah, that
episode,
was.
you know that Albert survives and works with Moriarty, but it's just that image that is just like just that image of Moriarty that persists the entire season. Calm, cool, and collected, while people he's having do his dirty work are in the background doing damage. Uh, the other one was the boat arc. Um, because I just felt that
Hmm.
in the best way possible, it went so quickly. Like the second episode of that two-parter, when it got to Sherlock introducing himself at the end, I thought it was gonna fucking go to the mid card. I thought I had another half an episode left, and then it suddenly went
It
to the
was really
credits.
well paced.
Yeah, like that's how engrossed I was in it. But
Hmm.
at least there's more coming in spring. Also, the OP and ED really good. I really liked.
Yeah, the OP especially. I feel like the ED was kind of like when I first heard the ED, I thought it was going to be the OP, and I was like, oh, that does not sound like a good OP for this show.
I mean, I just
Uh,
I just love the mood whiplash of the ED. Like it's fucking William James and Albert, just painting happily after an episode of just like fucking Victorian horror.
Carnage and chaos.
Yeah.
It's great. Anyways, Hero Aka season 4.
Yeah. Uh well, the second half
Fucking
of
hell.
Hero Aka Season 4, which to be fair
Yeah, the
did
first
include the
half
best
was
parts of it.
all of last year.
Yeah. So
Oh
this
yeah, no.
this year got we got the climax of the Overhaul arc, we got the School
Hmm.
Festival arc, and we
We got
got
the school festival,
the Endeavor versus Nomu fight.
pro hero arc.
That's a pretty
Oh, that
the
was a
Pro Hero
fucking good
rankings
fight.
arc. Rankings Pro Hero arc is slightly later, but yeah, like that. The second half of the season was so fucking good. Uh, actually, question: while we're talking about Hero Aka, are we
Nah,
okay? That's
nah.
good because I would have ended up ranting on it, so that's probably for the best. Uh, which is not what I want to do because I love Hero Aka with every part, every fiber of my being. It is my favorite series of all time. I love getting to watch it. I love getting to. And this,
Honestly, like this entire season was pretty damn good, but I gotta say the fight sequences in this season were just excellent.
yeah. I mean, I mean, fucking. Give me a second, because I'm actually. Give me a second, because I'm gonna try and save. Uh, fucking GIF of Deku versus Open. Put it up. It's so
Oh god,
so good.
that is a fucking amazing. It's a fucking amazing scene.
Yeah,
Like all of the major fight scenes in this core were just animated fucking amazingly. Like Endeavor versus High End was probably the best fire effects I've seen this year that aren't in Fire Force,
yeah,
and they are fucking holy fucking hell, man. And then there's also like Deku versus Gentle was a great fight.
Oh, it was.
Unfortunately, it just lacks the spectacle of the other two big fights in the core.
Yeah, I still think it was really good though.
Oh, it was very good. I'm just saying it's not quite as spectacular, you know?
Yeah,
But it was overall an excellent demonstration of like Deku of how far Deku's come as a
yeah.
person and as a hero. You found the gift yet?
I've got it saved. I'm just trying to think. Save it. Oh, oh, did I save it in the wrong?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. Oh, uh,
I do gotta say I have watched that one clip of Deku going full Wrathful God on Overhaul. I've watched that clip several times
yeah,
because it's fucking great.
really is.
It's one of those things like Overhaul goes, "Why do I hear boss music?" And Deku is just like, "Because I turned it on." Oh man, just like Deku, someone call an ambulance, but not for me. It just, oh my
Yes.
god, it's just so fucking amazing and cathartic too.
Yeah.
Like the scene where Deku saves Eri is one of the most beautiful scenes in the series,
Oh,
and
it
it
absolutely.
actually brought me to tears because
There we
of
go.
how the music helped. The music helped immensely.
There we go.
Um,
That should become.
ooh,
You've got
all
the stream
right.
up, Jack. You tell me that if it's up.
Hold on a second. Oh yeah,
Yeah. No, it is just.
like I said, wrathful God.
Yeah. No, you get it. You get a feeling of what Deku is going to be like when he's managed to fully master One for All, and even the most emphatic of Bakugo stands will go, nah, my boy's not got a chance. Deku's number one.
Yep.
Ain't nothing's
Now,
gonna
like
stand
this
up to
is
this shit.
yeah. No, it's basically Deku's free trial of One for All Unleaded,
Yeah.
and it is a glorious thing to behold.
I mean, yes. And
But
and yes, and yes, the gentle fight is less of a spectacle, but it's much more of a tactical fight. I think is really uh is certainly different compared to the other
we
two
don't get enough of
fights of
those.
this core. Yeah, you don't get enough tactical fights. It's very much mostly because Deku follows All Might too much and goes more punch my problems away too much. He is easily smart enough to actually think through.
I mean, he did get a quirk that is basically about punching things real hard.
Yeah, but still. But yeah, and
Yeah.
you actually get to see Deku's analytical brain working.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
I mean,
Like the school festival is seriously underrated
oh,
as
it
an arc, I
absolutely
think.
is because
Like,
we've also got the fucking song, like,
oh yeah.
and like if you didn't at least tear up at Eri smiling, have no heart.
Have no soul, you are not human. You are a monster. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but it is
Yeah,
the truth.
because it's just so touching, and it just killed me.
And yes, Deku is too OP, but I don't think he'll ever get nerfed.
Now I want him to continue being.
He deserves it. It's what he deserves. But yeah,
The other thing about the gentle fight is
moving
Deku gets
on to
Deku gets a new weapon, gets a new costume edition,
yeah,
the Wind
it's an
Gauntlets,
upgrade.
and again,
Yeah,
it's
those are
a
neat.
yeah, and again, it's a weapon that he needs to use more tactically.
Yeah, it's really great stuff. But let's go to next show on our list then, because we do have some Hero Aka episodes planned somewhere down the pipeline.
Oh, absolutely, all of us love it too.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Um, but the next on our list is My Next Life as a Villainess, aka Bacarina.
Such a fitting name for
It,
such a dense character.
she's about as dense as a neutron star, I'd say.
I went with Black Hole.
Potato, potato. They're both really fucking dense.
Yeah.
And it works all too well to describe her because she is just the biggest dumbass, but also the most endearing one.
I mean,
Like,
she is literally defended when she is accused of harassing someone, and her brother's defense is my simple-minded sister isn't even capable of such elaborate harassment. Like, man, that's
it's
so harsh
true
and
though.
so true.
I love her reaction too. It's like I feel like I'm being both attacked and defended at the same time
I mean, she
because she
was.
is.
Yeah. I mean, that entire scene is just everyone insulting her intelligence.
She is probably one of my favorite harem protagonists of all time, just because of how wonderfully oblivious she is, while at the same time being so endearingly kind-hearted and
Yeah.
just direct about things.
Yeah.
She she's such a precious character.
I mean, the bits that I really loved, start and the end. I loved the bits with Child Katarina, establishing the relationship with various harem participants. Like, just stuff
Yeah.
like
I
Katarina
do
busting
also
down a
appreciate.
fucking door with an axe, like going full
Yes,
shining
I
on that
love that
bitch,
scene.
or trying to
Yeah,
scare
that was
Jordo
funny.
with a toy snake. Like,
Uh,
just
I also appreciate that it's like a full-on bisexual harem.
oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
guys and girls love her, and it's just so refreshing to see that.
Oh yeah. Not that
Like,
she noticed.
no, she doesn't fucking notice anything. She is quite possibly the most oblivious main character I've seen in a while.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Oh my god.
Then there was
Well,
the villain of the season, Sirius, who was yet another
yeah,
round of anime boy or girl.
yeah,
I
yeah. No,
when I saw him in the OP, I honestly wasn't sure.
yeah, that makes sense. I pegged him as a guy pretty quickly, but it's very obvious that you can understand where someone was coming from if they said that they thought he was a girl at first.
Yeah.
Then again, his name is Sirius Stick, so like,
Be nice. It's Dika, which is not much better, but you know.
yeah. you are right, Tiago. Basically, everyone falls for Katarina.
um, what was some negatives of the show? I think the
The
middle was a
middle
bit
bit
dull.
was probably the weakest part because
Yeah,
it felt a lot like padding for in good chunks of it.
yeah,
Because they were trying to stretch out 2 light novels over about 3 light novels worth of anime.
yeah.
So, I can understand why people would feel it was stretched out. I felt it too, but I overall loved the series quite a bit. I think it might have made my top 10 just
Uh,
because of how lighthearted and fun it is.
I cannot say the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm not 100%. I know I'm fairly sure I said this during the middle or after I'd finished it, but I certainly said at one point, if the season had not been as dry as it was, that middle may have actually caused me to drop it. It really was. It
Yeah,
was
that's
tough to
fair.
get through. The other thing that I remember really not liking was Gordo and butting heads over Katarina. Like that got old pretty
I just
quickly.
like I will say I dislike Jordo the most out of all her suitors because he just feels like the most generic out of all of them,
Yeah,
and also because he feels like kind of a possessive asshole.
yeah. My favorite is Nicole
Whereas the
because he's the
rest of them, at
prettiest.
least, honestly, my favorites is probably Maria. Like
She's the
she's
one
just such a
who
nice
was
person.
also ring.
No, that's
Oh, that's
Sophia.
Mary. Oh, Sophia. Oh God. This was in spring. That was also a while ago. I don't remember anything.
Fine. It's fine. I understand.
Maria
Uh,
was
the
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 protagonist in the
protagonist,
game. That's right. Yeah. No, she is also a good choice. I did really like her.
she's just such a sweetheart. And the fact that it is a Yuri ship may or may not help in my case, but I still like their chemistry. They have a really great relationship dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, my favorite is Nicole just because he's pretty.
Understandable. Understandable. Have a nice day. But yeah, did you watch the next show on the list? I don't know if you did.
No, I did not. I did not watch the next two. So go at it.
All right. So the next one is Princess Connect Redive, which is just so, quite possibly my favorite pure comedy of the year. It's certainly up there for me. It is just such a funny series, and it's just it honestly works really so well because of how well animated it is
Isn't it
and
another
how
mobile game adaptation?
it is. It has no right being this good. Is the thing. Like,
Add another entry onto that
I was,
list.
yeah. I honestly want you to watch it very much, Bill, because it is worth watching. It's basically like imagine Konosuba, except it's not an isekai, and and it's not mean spirited at all. It's just such a light-hearted, fun comedy fantasy romp,
Yeah,
and it works so well because of how well the characters play off of each other.
yeah.
Like, yes, Kiaru is very funny. She works really great, especially in contrast to Pecorine. Like that is actually probably the core relationship of the show, Pecorine and Kiaru. Uh, and it's basically like this very sour, bitter character again who basically is being slowly corrupted to the light side by this wonderful ray of inexhaustible sunshine, who also has just like the biggest appetite.
That is a
And it
character
is
archetype I like.
it's worth watching because that relationship just makes the show, I
Yeah.
think. And it's and there's a lot of subtext there too. Like at one point, Pecorine outright tells Kiara that she loves her, and it's just such a good show. Uh,
Yeah.
it's got a second coming out next year, so
Okay.
like my one big complaint for it was that it felt like it was an incomplete story,
Yeah.
but now that's being addressed by the fact that there's a sequel. So I don't have any real problems with this show.
Yeah.
It's it's fun. It's a good time,
Yeah.
and it's just please check it out, man.
I'll see. I'll try to.
Yeah. Also, the game it is based off of is getting a global release sometime early next year. I think around March. So, yeah, that's if you are interested in playing the source game. Just be prepared for that. It's already available for pre-order, I believe. I think it's
Uh,
Crunchyroll.
yeah, probably. I make no promises.
Yeah.
I may be too invested in Magatsu Verai by then.
Who knows? We'll see.
Who
Oh
knows?
yeah, we're
I
going to
hope I'm
talk
not.
about Gotcha.
We
We're going
are.
to need to talk about Gotcha Hell at some point.
We do have a Gacha Hell episode scheduled at some point in March, actually. So
Oh, how appropriate.
yeah, look forward to that.
Anyways, next up is ReZero season 2. And I have been begging you to watch ReZero, man. Come on.
I've been too scarred by bad isekai.
It's not a bad isekai, but it
I
is kind of
know,
rough to get through.
I know. It's just I don't know. I struggle to catch up with stuff anyway, unless I've got like definite reason to like I was catching up Sender for my write up,
Hmm,
and I've already got a lot to catch up on in sequel. So we will see.
that's fair. But yeah, ReZero season 2 is probably like I know it's hard for you to hear this, but it's probably my favorite sequel season this year, even above Hero Aka. Like it is legitimately an excellent follow up to the
Sil-
first season, and
silently judging you.
Mill, not every one of us can be a hardcore Hero Aka stan. I love the
Yeah,
series, but like Read Zero kind of it kind of just it kind of just like it part of the reason is that it just broke down what makes the protagonist tick
yeah,
in a very interesting and satisfying way,
yeah,
and it basically just like it delved deep into his core motivations and his past and why he is so why he has so little self-worth and why he's basically borderline suicidal for most of it. But it's he undergoes a lot of really strong character development in the series in
yeah,
this season particularly. And it's like part of the criticism of the first season was that he felt like he didn't develop until about uh, 2/3 of the way in. Season 2 is all about getting deep into Subaru's mind and figuring out why he is the way he is and setting him on the road to improvement as a person. And it's just really strong writing throughout, es- especially since it's also complemented by like the mystery of what the hell is going on in the current situation
yeah,
that the the main characters have been stuck in.
yeah.
And there's so much interesting lore going on in this season. Not to mention, quite possibly some of the most gruesome death scenes I've seen in the series, or in anime for that matter. Like Holy fucking shit! This season was brutal. Yeah, it ReZero is not for the faint of heart. Like Subaru dies in so many different gruesome ways. It's almost not funny.
Tell you what,
Like
if
if
you can convince somebody else to join us for a podcast episode on ReZero, I will watch ReZero in prep.
you're on, all right. Oh, I am going to enjoy that.
Said you have to get
But
somebody
anyway,
who also likes ReZero to involved.
might not be as difficult as you think.
I'm not imagining it's going to be that difficult, but you know, it gives me a reason to watch it. So
That's fair. I mean, earliest you'll have to watch it by is probably
April,
like late March, early April.
yeah, I would imagine it'd
Yeah,
probably be later than that.
yeah, probably. The second half of the second season is actually airing in the winter. It was originally going to be like a regular straight up two core season, but it got turned into a split core because of the pandemic. This was
Yeah,
a show I was talking about that got split
yeah.
by the pandemic, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, like it makes sense, and I'd rather
Oh, it absolutely does.
have the anime work in good conditions and have
Yeah,
the product it could be rather than them trying to force it out fast.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to a series that we both watched then. Somali and the Forest Spirits.
I cried.
Same.
I I absolutely cried. Like, just killed. And I knew from minute one, like as soon as it happened, as soon as like I watched
Oh,
the first episode, I was like, right at the end of this, aren't I?
oh, my first instinct was like, this anime is going to break me.
Yeah,
It's going to. I'm going to ugly cry.
and it's just, I mean, I actually fell off this when it was airing about halfway through. No reason other than I was extremely busy at that time. Um, Final year in university. And when I rewatched or I started catching back up on it, I forgot how adorable Somali was. Like Somali, the
She
character,
is
I mean,
just such a precious. She's just such a precious child.
he really is.
And then, of course, we got Daisuke Ono as the Golem, being more emotive than he was as Jotaro somehow.
And you wanted to put him on best male save just for that feat.
I mean, is it undeserved though? Is it really undeserved?
I mean, I don't think he should be on the main list, but he should certainly get an honorary mention.
Yeah. It's just really good performance, and seeing Golem slowly develop like that relationship with Somali is just a
Yeah.
thing of beauty.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's so well done over the course of the show.
Hmm. God, I
And
really
just
also
the
love the
side characters as
supporting
well.
cast.
Yeah, the side
Yeah, the
characters.
cast is really good.
The two Onis.
I don't remember them either, but I love them. They were great.
Going to get them out page up so I can say them. Uh,
Yeah.
ah,
Chizuno and Yabashira.
yeah.
Yeah, they were very good supporting characters. And I love that they came back in the final stretch of the season.
Yeah,
It was
no,
really
that
fun
was
to
really.
see them again.
Another one was Kikila. He was really fun.
He was wonderful, and I liked his developing relationship with Somali.
Yeah.
Like the friendship they had was great. What was also fun was Hydra and Uzui was their relationship and how that paralleled Somali and Golem.
Yeah.
And their backstory together was just really incredibly fucked up, and I was not expecting it.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Somali, the show, was not afraid to go into fucked up areas. Not at all.
It went to some dark places. Jesus Christ. Honestly, like this series is an excellent series, but it is not lighthearted fluff that some of you might think it is. And it is definitely not for the faint of heart because it goes to dark places and it covers some really dark subject matter.
It
Like
really,
it is
really.
part of the reason Somali has to be disguised at all times is because of the severe prejudice that humans in this world face because they are endangered, and also because everyone wants to eat the remaining humans. All the monsters want to just kill and or eat the remaining humans, and it is not played for comedy at all. It is very serious.
In fairness, given some of the, it's not entirely unjustified.
No, no, of course not, but it's still like horrifying.
Oh, absolutely. Considering the person in the show that we love the most is Somali, who is a human child.
Yeah, they did a good job of developing the empathy there.
But it also did a good job of showing that not all of the monsters were as bad as the ones who wanted to take full revenge on humans. Like there were
Hmm.
a decent number of characters who did discover that Somali was human, accepted it. She was a kind-hearted child.
Yeah, like I do appreciate the characters being able to see past the fact that she was human, but it also makes the characters who can't that much more notable.
Oh yeah, the ones in the finale episodes really bad.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, especially that old lady who turned out to be
Oh
like
fuck her,
horrifyingly.
fuck her right off.
She's awful.
Yeah. Trying to think of moments that I remember. Do you remember the really adorable and funny one where Smiley got a loose tooth? Thought it was like was terrified by it.
Oh yeah, and then Golem took her to the dentist.
Yeah.
That was great.
What else was?
I mean, we could talk about Golem gradually dying and that being very depressingly relevant because the author had to end the series because of their declining health.
Is that what happened? Oh God, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, it was just announced recently that the author had to. The series was already on hiatus, but the author just decided to end it because their health is getting so bad.
Oh wow,
The manga.
I did not know that, and yeah, that is really poignant.
Yeah, it's very it's unfortunate,
Yeah,
especially with regard to the series and and one of its main themes and plot lines.
yeah. What else? Oh, the fucking one-eyed wolf dude in the same place. Healer. He was pretty fun.
Oh, that was cool.
Little we saw of him.
Yeah, that was
I
yeah.
do.
I
I do
fear.
vaguely remember enjoying the as well. The one
Oh
with
yeah,
the
that was
one with the
interesting.
library where they learn about history of the
I remember that. That episode was neat. That was a really neat plot line.
yeah. But yeah,
Do you want to move on
yes.
after? Because it kind of got real heavy.
Yeah. So let's talk about a much more light-hearted series. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this show.
Oh
I love
Jesus Christ.
this show was so fucking hilarious. And like
It was
the thing I want to
good.
mention first and foremost is art style was wonderfully unique.
Oh
Like
yeah, no, it looks like manga panels brought to life.
in a good way as well. Like sometimes you can say that in a bad way. No, this felt like this felt like just animated manga in a really good way. And just the color scheme and the art style just seems so unique compared to every other show.
Yeah, it really did, and it worked out really well, I think, for the series.
Yeah, no, it definitely made it stick out more. What also helped it stick out is its wonderful sense of humor. I mean, I still remember in the first episode when when Hanako is trying to hook Nene up with a boy of choice. And
Oh
their plan
God.
is to have her walk around the corner and bump into him. Uh, and like Hanako is like, uh, okay, go when I say now. And she goes on now and just runs into somebody, knocks him down as like a flight of stairs, like, oh God, what happened to you? Somebody call an ambulance. I'm sorry. And it's all the funny because you don't see this. You just see Hanako's face. You don't see any of this happen. You just see Hanako's face just go, oh no, this went badly.
I
And
do love the dynamic between Nene and Hanako.
oh, it
It's
is
such
fantastic.
it's so fun.
And then there's when they're in the fucking the domain of oh, I can't remember what her name was, but the first one, the one that was taking people on the stairs. Um and they had to and they had to build a human based on parts they could find, and they built this just complete abomination with with like a wheel for a leg and like a fucking statue for an arm, and it's just fucking hilarious. Oh God, I'm so glad we
I
got to
gotta
see that
say, like,
abomination.
oh yeah, I gotta say, like, Ko and Nene are just
I mean,
such
just the
fun
main
characters.
trio. The main trio is such a fun dynamic between them. Like,
They
like
really
Poe's
do. It's
Poe's introduction episode is just fantastic. Just,
oh god.
I mean, there is a reason I nominated Hanako Seiyu for best female Seiyu, because she was having so much fun voicing Hanako, having
Oh yeah, no,
so
she
much fun.
clearly enjoyed herself.
That's not to say
It
that
it,
there
it
weren't
really
serious
just came
parts.
together well.
That's not to say there weren't serious parts, because as the season got towards the end, there really were. So when we got introduced to Hanako's, was it twin brother or was it just brother? I think it was twin brother.
Twin brother, Tsukasa.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tsukasa.
who is let's just say the relationship they have does not bear thinking about on what happened. It's not some. I'm sure if the show gets a second season, or if I start reading the manga, I'm sure I'll find out what their relationship entailed. But I have a very bad feeling about what it entailed.
Oh yeah. No, I get the impression that Tsukasa was a little budding psychopath.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing that really worries me is what he was doing to Hanako during the OP.
Yeah, no, that is a very nope, nope,
Yeah,
nope.
that was
Yep.
That was a very, very nope thing. Uh,
Very uncomfortable. Very nope.
but his introduction is so great because you can see just how much Hanako is affected by this, and for pretty much the entire show, he's been basically happy-go-lucky and like unconcerned with everything. Like he's had his moments of getting serious, but even then, like there was still an undertone of playfulness to him. The playfulness went
Never
away
been as
completely.
rattled as
Yeah,
when Tsukasa shows up.
he was entirely random, and just it,
Yeah.
and that was after Tsukasa had killed a. To be fair, Doctor Stone's Tsukasa is not necessarily a psychopath. He
He just has weird ass morality.
I mean, I can vaguely understand his morality, let's be honest. It's not great to
Yeah.
want the billionaires of the world back in, but possibly the way he was going about it was wrong.
Yeah. Nah.
But yeah, yeah, it was. Tsukasa's intro was even worse by the fact that, it happened right as we saw him kill. Oh, as well. I don't remember character names. I remember character traits. It's about that's it.
No, what
After
was yeah, the Mitsuba arc was really good.
I mean, it was a rough start because Mitsuba. I'm gonna be honest, Mitsuba's stick of ranting, I didn't like. But as
Yeah,
he
that's
and
fair.
as he and Ko grew more and more closer and closer, like it was really touching. And then fucking Tsukasa just murders Mitsuba. Yeah, that was.
Tsukasa is an asshole.
Oh, absolutely. Um, what else was there? There was the Tsuchigomori arc, which was pretty good, even if it was that darned Kenjiro Suda.
You will never escape.
I will never. He's in everything. He is in every season, and every time it's a show that I'm watching, and I don't understand it. How does it manage to be a show that I watch every season? I just, I just don't understand how it happens. Why do I have to like the shows that he's in? Tell you what, that is what I loved and respected Akadama Drive for, because Master was probably a perfect role for Suda, but they didn't fucking give it to him.
I don't think he's in ReZero either. If that's a point in his favor.
I don't know.
Is it a
I
point?
might watch the dub for Zero. I don't know.
That's fair.
We'll
I've
see.
heard good. Yeah,
I mean,
but
I do have the first season's Blu-ray, so I got in a random
all
box.
the more reason.
Yeah, but I
All
don't
the more.
have it with me right now. It's in somewhere else. Anyway,
You want to move on to Tonikawa now?
the other thing I want to mention is the fucking the fucking dumbass who is a part of the group with Tsukasa and Sakura, Akane, I think his
Oh,
name
that
is.
poor idiot.
That
Yeah,
fucking
that poor
dumbass.
idiot.
Like they kidnap Nene and stick her in like this fucking nightmare realm. And fucking Akane annoys Sakura so much that she goes, "Fuck it, leaving you here as well." And then he just
It's great.
and then he gets. It's like a place with a bunch of doors to a bunch of awful places. He just walks into one and he gets tracked away while giving a thumbs up. And it's just so hilarious. Oh god, that fucking dumbass.
I honestly love all these dumbass characters. They're so
They,
wonderful.
they're fucking great.
I do love Nene's interaction with her best friend Aoi too.
Yeah,
It's really fun to see. Just Aoi be so baffled by Nene's idiocy
yeah.
sometimes.
Oh god. Oh, I love Oda P. This just missed out on my top five if I remember correctly, and it isn't through no fault of this show's because it was genuinely one of my favorite shows of the entire Winter season. There was a lot of good stuff in Winter.
Oh yeah.
Oh
No,
my
it
god,
was good.
I love this. Oh, anyway, yes, let's move on to the final show, which is another show I greatly adored. Uh, Torikawa, which genuinely is another show on the had no right being as good as it was list.
Yep, it really did.
Because never in my wildest imagination did I think that while I was writing while I was writing up my thing for the premiere, while I was writing joke after joke after joke about NASA thinking with his dick, that I would end up enjoying the show as much as I did.
It's just a really good show.
And I think what the best thing it does is it makes you forget the dumbassery of the first episode, because it is a stupid episode. Like, the concept behind them getting together is so dumb, and yet
Yeah.
from episodes 2 onwards, you just don't really think about it because they genuinely work well as a couple.
Yeah, no, they do, which is weird. Like,
Like,
God, they just work really great.
and it's just so nice watching them progress from awkwardly trying to figure out how they should act towards each other to that moment in the final episode after everyone left where they're just cleaning dishes together, leaning on each other. Like, that's such a nice heartwarming moment that I just didn't expect. I mean, that's not even mentioning the sheer comedy of this show. Like, this
It was actually really funny.
this is
I my favorite comedy moment was probably the scene in which what's her face, the older sister of the Spa family, just like being told flat out that her
oh
crush is
yeah.
married now.
Yeah. Add another one to the list of dense characters because she only realized when she was straight up told that. Well, no, I'm not sure if she was even straight up told. It was just that she was there when somebody mentioned that Nasa and Tsukasa were actually married, and then she goes into full blue screen of death mode.
It was great. That scene in general was really funny.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I
I
think
was
my
dying.
favorite. Yeah, I think my favorite ones were just any interaction between Nasa and the younger sister. Like, I just
Oh yeah,
loved
those were
that
great too.
dynamic.
I love I love her. She's just so funny.
Um, Also surprisingly good with the two maids.
Yeah, they were great.
Just
Honestly, the only character I kind of disliked was
Dosei,
uh Tsukasa's younger sister. Yeah.
Dosei, yeah. No, she was definitely the worst part of the show. But she's just appealing to the Sundere, which, let's be honest, neither of us really
Yeah,
likes.
I like some tsunderes. I just do not like her at all. She's not good.
Yeah. No,
She's
it's.
just
I mean,
annoying.
what made her segments
But
better?
regardless,
What made her segments better were just the maids as the fucking peanut gallery,
oh yeah, that was great.
and just entirely not on board with her plans to try and break them up.
Yeah. Oh my god. I just love this show so much. It had it came as a surprise to me that I wound up enjoying it as much as I did.
Oh,
But
definitely.
Tonikawa is definitely worth checking out.
What else was there in the? Oh, there was the really really heartwarming and to an extent jerking scene where Nasa's parents thanked Tsukasa for saving him. Like that had me
Oh,
tearing up.
that was a beautiful scene.
Like again, again it's a hint. Well, not even a hint. It shows just how much Tsukasa has come to care for Nasa at that point. She is also, she also says, "I'm really grateful that basically."
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about Tonikawa that we haven't mentioned, is, the stuff surrounding Tsukasa. What
Oh
the
yeah,
hell is she?
Tsukasa is vaguely implied to be the actual mythological Princess Kaguya.
Yeah, I mean, this season there's already a second season, um, and but this season was very much about Bill establishing the relationship between Nasu and Tsukasa, and I can only assume that next season we get more Tsukasa.
Oh yeah, hopefully. Maybe I'll just be more vague hints. Who knows? I
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, honestly, I don't really care. I'd be happy to just get more fluffy relationship antics between Nasu and Tsukasa, especially as
Honestly, same.
they're starting to get closer and closer to advancing their relationship, and it's just so funny how awkward. It
Yeah,
also gets
it
kind
is.
of adorable.
Mm-hmm. We need more fluffy relationships like that.
Yeah,
We just so wholesome, and we need more shows focused on the actual relationship instead of just like the lead up to the relationship.
yeah. I mean, this show, this show was. We haven't talked about it because both of us were really quite well. Certainly, I was quite disappointed. I'm not sure what about you, Jack. I was quite disappointed. Archie.
I liked it well enough, but I felt like it was a bit too slow. Yeah,
I
I can
liked it. I
understand that.
liked it. I was just disappointed at how slow it was, and because of that, Tonikawa was just such a breath of fresh air in that there wasn't this tiptoeing around each other. Already in the relationship, about them getting together and like not even getting together, like working out how to best live, learning about each other. It really was just such a breath of fresh air compared to Adachi. Don't get me wrong, Adachi Shimamura was an enjoyable show. I did get a quite a large amount of entertainment out of Adachi being a complete disaster lesbian.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
the amount of chances they passed up to get them together in the final 3 or 4 episodes is just infuriating.
Mm, yeah.
Anyway, uh, that is the last show on our list.
Yep.
Um, if
This has
you
been a long ass episode.
It has. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk about one more show, which technically didn't actually air this year. I watched this year,
What is it?
Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Ah, I kind of want to keep it this episode on topic,
Fair,
and honestly, like this has been on long enough.
fair
I
enough.
do want to mention one other show real quick that
But
wasn't on the list, but probably should have been. Talentless Nana is also really good and worth checking out. It is basically My Hero Academia meets Among Us, and it is really good.
yeah, yeah.
But
Other than that, I have no other shows to mention. I pretty much all of the shows in my top. I think 15, 16, 17 were on the list, so I'm
Yeah, no, that's fair.
so after 3 hours and about 40 minutes, coming up on 40 minutes, that is our show. I hope you enjoyed enjoyed us rambling on for close to 4 hours on various animes. Uh, Obviously, if you enjoyed what you watched here, please give the channel a follow. That'll mean you're notified every time we go live for Paradox Hour, or if we do uh, gaming streams. I've been streaming Football Manager every Tuesday. I want to start streaming Return of the well. It will be a fun time because I am probably not going to be very good at that game. So it'll be fun to watch me muddle and struggle through that game. Uh, I know the others have some gaming streams as well. Jack, I believe you've been playing visual novels.
I'm planning to stream some of them.
Yeah.
Uh, Not sure which one to start with yet, but I will. I might put that up to a vote, or I might just ask around about that.
So, in terms of coming streams, uh, on
Next, we are going to be doing another Paradox Hour. This time on the manga that began and ended in 2020.
yes,
So
that'll
look
be
forward to that.
that will be next Saturday, probably at the normal time because we aren't going to talk for 3 hours on that. Probably,
Hopefully not.
probably, we'll see, but probably
We
not.
really want to see.
I'm
But
obviously back. I'm obviously back on Tuesday for Manager Street. I believe on Sunday we'll be having our first D&D stream.
yep,
Uh,
we will be. We've been in the campaign for the past several months, and
Admittedly, we
we
probably should have
are finally going.
We probably should have started streaming it before now, but oh well.
Yeah,
Better late than never.
can't be helped.
It's been a lot of fun. Like I'm certainly having an absolute ball of a time with Felix.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be a fun time.
that will be that'll be Sunday at it's 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. GMT. That's 12 EST, 11 Central, and 9 Pacific, if I'm calculating right.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe it's 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon time Eastern.
but don't worry if you can't make that because it will be archived both on this channel and the YouTube. Obviously, all of our streams are up on Twitch, and most of them are up on YouTube. Actually, after we solved the issue of why stuff wasn't going up, as it turned out to be privated, they are now up. So head over to the YouTube channel, give us a subscribe there, and a watch there. Uh, Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to anyone who invests 3 and 3/4 hours of their life watching the archive. We greatly appreciate you.
Thank you so very much. And for those of you who are watching right now, we'll see you again in the new year.
Well, it's already the new year for me. It's here for close to 2 hours. 2021 is currently just as bad as 2020. I wonder. It doesn't magically get better.
That'll probably take some time.
And on that downer
Well,
note, we will see you next time.